Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to another Flesh and Blood Team League stream on the Combat Chain Network. I'm your host, Adam Philipchuk, and we've got a big night for you guys tonight. 4 matches going down, and this is a big night for this entire series. We've got West Coast, Best Coast taking on Galaxy Gaming. A tight race in the second division right now. Team Blue Pitch up in first place. Team Blue Pitch probably looking to hold on to that first place spot. But then we've got West Coast, Best Coast, and SEAL Team Lotus in second place, tied for second place, both at a game record of 9 victories to 6 losses. So West Coast, Best Coast definitely looking to hold on to that second place position. And this is going to be the night that's going to determine whether they can do it. All 4 matches here determining who's going to take the win between West Coast, Best Coast, and Galaxy Gaming. The players for our first match here, I should tell you who we've got playing tonight. So our first matchup is Donghee Kim versus Noah Cagle. Our second match is Nathan Fortin versus Patrick Garren. And then we've got Yuki Lee Bender taking on Tanner Probst. And finally, we're going to have Zayne Johnson taking on Elijah Calub. I just gotten word from Donghee here. They're just about ready to start their match. So I'm just going to get us ready to go down to the game table. All right. And it looks like we're still waiting for, all right, we're still waiting on players here. So we've got a couple minutes. So a big match here right away because we already had one match played out uh, between Galaxy Gaming and West Coast Best Coast with that was Oliver Chen on Viserai into Bernard Saya on Prism. And Bernard took on just a strong Herald's Prism approach and was really able to just beat Oliver into the ground, putting Galaxy Gaming up 1-0. So West Coast Best Coast is already on the back foot here and is going to be wanting to definitely even out the series here. So the player's not quite ready yet. That's okay. And so a little more about this matchup here. This is Donghee's third game now. He is currently undefeated in the league with 2 previous wins on Starvo. And then we've got Noah. This is also his third game. He's also got 2 previous wins, one on Starvo and one on Briar. So in this match, it's going to be interesting to see. Oh, we just have some technical difficulties with TTS here. It looks like we're switching up servers. Give me a second while I find out what the new info is so I can bring you. Hmm. All right, my apologies, people. I just need to get a couple things sorted up behind the scenes here, so I'm just going to take a quick break to do that, and we will be right back with the first match of the quadruple header, West Coast Best Coast versus Galaxy Gaming. All right, what's up? We are back, and the players are loaded in, and it looks like we're gonna have a Starvomir here. So we've got Donghee on the left in the blue, and we've got Noah on the right in the red. Players just sideboarding and determining who's going to be going first here. And I see I got a little activity in chat. How's it going, chat? So we've got Zayne Johnson and Devin Miken. I hope I'm saying that right. And Zayne, like I said earlier, is going to be, or I haven't mentioned yet, is going to be in our last match tonight. He will be taking on Elijah Calub. And we'll get a little more into that matchup a little bit later. So players just determining who's going first. Looks like they're picking odds and evens here. So we'll see who ends up taking the first play here. I have no way of knowing. Oh, Zomboni on Discord. Hey, Devin. Putting names together. Rhymes with Michin? Anyhow, players are getting ready to go here. And we'll find out. We'll see. Well, interesting here. Some slight variations in equipment configuration here. Both players opting with the typical crown, along with crater fist, tunic, and ironhide legs. But it looks like Donghee is choosing to go with stalagmite here, whereas Noah has chosen the rampart. So some slight differences in their blocking strategies there. Maybe I would imagine Noah's maybe looking to play a little more defensively here then, whereas Donghee is looking to play a little more on the tempo side. So looks like we can see here that Donghee has ticked up tunic, so Donghee has gone first here. Donghee looking at his hand, I don't know, trying to decide if he's going to attack here or if he's just going to arsenal and pass. Looks like we're just going to go with the swing of the hammer. Deciding on pitch. We're going with a blue icy encounter. So this is going to be 4 threatening a frostbite on hit. And this does give Noah an opportunity to cycle his hand. So Noah probably going to be looking for the Starvo activation here, blocking with 2 cards. Oh, and we see a pummel. Let's have a look here and see what color pummel that is. That's a red pummel, so that's getting an additional 4. And it's going to force the frostbite. We see Donghee arsenaling and passing to end a turn. And Noah now starting his turn off. Ticking up tunic. He's got a frostbite. He is going to activate. Looks like he's going to activate Starvo here. And we see 3 cards. Yeah. So that's giving the next attack +2, dominate and go again. We see that being played into an evergreen. And that's blue evergreen. So that's going to be 7 go again, dominate. And it looks like Donghee is just going to opt to take all the damage here. And this is followed up with a whale, another 4, threatening a frostbite. We're going to see that with a block from hand and Crater Fist. You got to wonder, does Donghee going down to 3-card hand plus Arsenal, does Donghee still have the fuse here? By the fuse, I mean the activation of Starvo, and he does. What are we going to see? 3 separate cards, 1 of each element. That's going to be followed up by a red Autumn's Touch. So this is 9, go again, dominate. We do see a block from hand, preventing 3. So this is going to stick for 6. And then we're going to get that followed up with a whale, with a ice card pitched. So that is threatening 4 and a frostbite. And we see a full block from hand. Noah going down to 1 card, no Arsenal. Noah probably just going to swing the Winter's Whale. I don't know, even just choosing to Arsenal here and passing it back to Donghee. So Donghee effectively has full tempo now. Donghee starting off with a Starvo activation once again at the start of his turn. And we're going to see that get played into a Pulverize. This is 16, go again, dominate. What an attack. That's huge. We're going to see a Crown activation here on Noah's part. Cycling a card to the bottom of his deck and drawing a card. That is going to prevent 1 damage, down to 15. 15 being threatened still. And if any of this hits, this isn't a crush where it's 4 or more. This is if any of this hits. Noah's first attack on his next turn will have -4. So gotta imagine some of this is going to hit. Preventing 16 dominate seems, I don't think that's even possible without maybe a full, if Chain had Guardian of the Shadow Realm in Arsenal and the Husk up still and full equipment block, something weird like that could maybe do it, but that's about it. So we see, this looks like it's going to be a block for 5. Got 3 on the Autumn's Touch, 1 on Rampart, and 1 on one prevention on Crown of Seeds. Oh, maybe no Rampart actually. It looks like we're actually gonna play a Turn Timber from hand fused. Let me just zoom in on that to see what. So that's gonna be 8 from hand, or I see that Turn Timber was from Arsenal. So another 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 of the 16 prevented, taking 4. Or should be taking 4 here. My math is correct. So we see, yeah, it looks like Noah going down to 24 here. Just doing all the math and calculating it out. All right. So we are back on. Not quite certain what's. Take a moment to get collected here. So we're back on Donghee's turn. Donghee starting off with a Channel Lake Frigid. This making every card played from hand and activated ability costing an additional 1. It looks like Noah is going to activate his Crown of Seas in response before the Channel Lake Frigid takes action, or resolves, I should say. So we see the Channel Lake Frigid resolving, and then Donghee following that up with a Frosty Whale. And Noah's going to use the Crown of Seeds prevention to prevent 1, taking 3, and netting himself a Frostbite token. So this, on top of the Channel Lake Frigid, is going to mean his first action or card played or whatever he does on his turn is going to cost an additional 2. We see the Starvo activation showing that he's got the Pulse of Voltaire, and we're going to see that into a Crippling Crush. This is going to be 13. Go again, Dominate. On Crush of 4 or more, 2 cards have to be randomly discarded. Donghee does have a card in Arsenal, so he can Crown of Seeds here. He does already have 1 block taken up on Crater Fist. We see the Crown of Seeds activation. So it looks like this is, without having anything in Arsenal to defense react with, I imagine this is likely going to be hitting for 4 or more. But we'll see if Donghee has any tricks up his sleeve. Donghee thinking about his block here. Trying to figure out the best value. Donghee does have Ironhide legs here, so that can add an additional 2. So let's see, if we use the 1 off Crater Fist, Stalagmite's an additional 2, that's 3, plus Crown is 4. Ironhide gets him up to 6. A 3 block from hand would get him to 9. And it looks like Donghee is just going to take this. The player's resolving the Crippling Crush, figuring out what cards are going to be discarded. Is that the first and the last? We see a break ground. Oh, they're going to roll one more time. So 2 break grounds. If Donghee had the other 2 elements in hand, this would have been a great turn to activate Starvo, come in with a big break ground, and then follow that up with the hammer again. That's got to hurt for Donghee. But luckily for Donghee, the Channel Lake Frigid and the Frostbite making it so that Noah is not able to follow up with any kind of whale. So Donghee does able to swing the hammer here, threatening 4 with a Frostbite once again, pitching a Channel Lake Frigid. And it looks like we're going to see a crown activation on Noah's part. And it looks like we're going to see a block with Rampart on top of a block from hand. So we're effectively preventing 5 currently, with the Crown of Seeds on top of that. And Donghee says, yep, that's fine. He's going to Arsenal and pass it off to Noah. Noah coming in on a 3-card hand of his own on his turn. And it looks like a little mishap there. The disable going to the bottom of the deck, the one that was blocked with, but the players caught it. Now we're going to see the Starvo activation here for Noah. No, we are not. It looks like it's just going to be a whale and no ice cards. So this is just a warm whale. I imagine this is going to be an easy 4 for Donghee to take if Donghee's got the turn. Yeah, and we see just that. Donghee going down to 17. And then the whale going to the bottom of the deck. Noah's going to be Noah's going to be passing his turn, it looks like here. Yeah, drawing up 3. Going into Donghee's turn. Donghee's got 4 cards and an arsenal. Does Donghee have the Starvo activation? Does not look like it. We're going to go into a Crippling Crush. This is a plain old Crippling Crush. Crazy to say that. Once upon a time, a Crippling Crush itself was a scary attack, and now that's just a plain old Crippling Crush. We leveled up the Crippling Crush to the point where it's not so scary anymore. So Noah starting off with a Crown of Seeds, preventing 1. He's got 2 floating, so he can easily throw the Rampart at this, preventing another 1. 4 cards in hand still. We see a disable. And then a turn timber fused. So I believe that's going to be a full block of 11. That does take Noah down to 2 cards going into his turn, likely only able to threaten the hammer and then arsenal a card. And there we go. We see the hammer here with an ice card pitched. It's a blue Frostfang. So this is 4 threatening a frostbite. Donghee thinking about his block. He does have Tunic here to activate Crown of Seeds. So this allows him to go to a 5-card hand. And we're going to see just that. Tucking his arsenal to the bottom of his deck. And we're going to draw a card. Up to 5 cards in hand. And it looks like we're going to throw Crater Fist, and I imagine a card. Oh, we're thinking twice about it. We're going to see Crater Fist and the Stalagmite plus Crown of Seeds. It's going to be a prevention of 4, giving a Frostbite, in fact, to Noah, but that doesn't matter too much because that Frostbite's going to go away at the end of Noah's turn. Interesting that we chose Stalagmite on that block. I imagine Donghee wants to play into his 5-card hand here, and yeah, we're going to see a Starvo activation here with Pulse of Candlehold and a Polar Blast. Donghee thinking about his turn now. You gotta hope he's got something big here. An Oaken Old or a Crippling Crush. Something to try to... Oh, and there we go. We've got a Crippling Crush. So this is 13. Go again. Dominate. Donghee has 1 floating after this. So hopefully able to still pitch whatever's in hand to Winter's Wail. Or Arsenal, whatever's in his hand. Depends on what he's got. And I suppose it depends on what Noah chooses to do here. So Noah activating his Crown of Seeds off of the Tunic resource, tucking his arsenal to draw a card, preventing 1 damage on the next damage dealt to him. Noah thinking long and hard about his block here, trying to figure out how to deal with this, how to come back from this and still have a turn and be able to keep pressuring Donghee in return, because both players, well, Noah at 20, Donghee at 17, both players still have the ability to take some sort of hit from their opponent and still be able to come back with some sort of big turn, but at the same time running out of room to have to keep taking hits. Figure each player can afford to take 1 more big hit from their opponent right now before they're reduced to blocking with multiple cards from hand. And with the Starvo matchup, with Dominate always potentially in the fold, you can't really always defend to go down to those blocking, low health blocking games. So we see a Crown of Seeds followed by a Staunch Response. And it looks like we're gonna prevent, let's have a quick look here. We're gonna prevent 8 here. And Noah is gonna get, not quite certain what happened there. I think we were trying to, I think we're just having some Some TTS difficulties here. So Noah going down to 17. The crush effect not happening on the crippling crush, but still stripping Noah of most of his hand. Noah arsenaling and passing back to Donghee. Donghee coming in with 4 cards in hand, no arsenal this time. Will he have the Starbow activation? Doesn't look like it, but we do see an Oakenold pitching a blue Winter's Bite. And is this going to be fused? Doesn't look like it. So this is just going to be 7 and no on-hit trigger. We do see Noah pitching, activating his Crown of Seeds to tuck his arsenal, prevent 1 damage, drawing a card. And this still threatens 7, which is, at this point, that would take Noah down to 10. So Noah does still have to be conscious about whether he wants to take this hit. No dominate, though. Noah able to full block this if he doesn't have the hand he needs. And we're going to see just that, a block for 7, taking Noah down to a 2-card hand. Ooh, and a pummel. So that is going to leak 2 damage and force another card out of Noah's hand. And we see a Channel Lake Frigid gone there, off the pummel trigger. Noah down to a 1-card hand. And we see Noah's just going to arsenal and pass it back. So Donghee still at 4, still has tempo. Tunic at 3 now, an extra resource. Does Donghee have the hand he needs? He's got Noah down to 14 here. So close to that, right where he wants him. But this is a Guardian v Guardian matchup, so that's still, there's a lot of ways to prevent damage. And if we've seen anything so far, Noah seems more on the defensive side. We've seen those turn timbers and there was staunch responses. It looks like we're just going to have an Autumn's Touch here. And that's a blue Autumn's Touch, so this is just going to be for 5. Do see Noah starting off with the Seeds activation. Tucking his arsenal and drawing a card. So there is 1 damage prevention on this so far. With a red Autumn's Touch pitched. So no resources floating. Nothing to throw at the Rampart currently, or Ironhide Legs. Still has full block on Crater Fist as well. And it looks like Noah's just going to take 4 here, and then in response, Donghee just getting that Blizzard out of his hand to cycle his hand, targeting his own Autumn's Touch. Arsenaling his last card, and then passing it back to, or passing it over to Noah. Noah coming in with an Oakenold. Is this going to be fused? And we see the pulse of Eisenloft. This is fused. So this is going to be 9 dominate. Noah must not have had the lightning card. See, Capolo has hopped in the chat. How's it going, Capolo? And we've got the card guys. Hey, card guys, how's it going? Donghee trying to decide how he's going to deal with this Okanold here. And from what we've seen so far, I don't imagine Donghee has any D-reacts, or many D-reacts for that matter, in his deck. And it looks like he's motioning, yeah, Crown of Seeds, we're going to activate Tunic, tucking that Arsenal to draw a card, going up to 5 cards here, preventing his next 1 damage. So effectively this Okanold is 8 now. No longer has Crater Fist, can still block with Tunic, and can still block with Ironhide Legs. And he does have 1 on Stalagmite still. And even with all the tricks Guardians can have up their sleeve, I gotta imagine some part of this Okanold is going to be hitting. So that'll be forcing 2 cards at random to the bottom of Donghee's deck. I think Donghee is just trying to decide what can he afford to lose here? What kind of semblance of a turn can he still have after this? Donghee thinking long and hard about this block. Kind of need maybe some sort of a tune for moments like this. Maybe I could get the rights to the Jeopardy stream or something. The Jeopardy tune, and I don't dare whistle it because I don't want to get in trouble. And Pat, that's just a plain fused Okanold. No Starvo activation on that. So this is 9 dominate. We've got a Crown of Seeds activated so far, preventing 1. Capolo says just 9 dominate, don't worry about it. And it looks like Donghee is going to throw what semblance of the fridge he has left at this. So we're going to see 1, 3, 4, 7, 8 block. So 1 still leaking through. And that is going to force another 2 cards out of... Oh, Is Donghee thinking twice about this? Is he thinking, if I'm just going to lose my hand, I might as well take the damage and swing back for what it's worth? And so is Donghee, does it look like, yeah, Donghee is going to take 8 here. Because he did have the Crown of Seeds activation. He's going to go down to 3 cards in hand. Oh. So it looks like we're losing. We've accidentally revealed a Crippling Crush. And 1 more card. So Donghee with a 3-card hand on his turn. So we see a Pulse of Eisenloft into a Winter's Bite or Winter's Wail. This is going to be 8, threatening a Frostbite. And with Donghee down to 9, I imagine maybe if Noah's got the hand, he's thinking, yeah, I'm just going to take this and I'm going to pound Donghee into the sand. We shall see here. Noah does have the 5-card hand currently. I'm sure he can afford to pitch around a Frostbite. So we see the Rampart thrown at this for starters. Pitching a Blizzard. And a Staunch Response. And that should be a block for 8 here. Yeah, and Donghee's going to Arsenal and pass it off to Noah. Noah coming back, 3-card hand. Donghee's at 9. Noah does have the Starvo activation here with the Pulse of Eisenloft and a Shock Striker. Next attack getting +2, dominate and go again. We're going to see an Autumn's Touch here. That's going to be a yellow Autumn's Touch. Don't see those too often. This is 8, dominate, go again. Noah's thinking hard about, or sorry, not Noah, Donghee's thinking about his block here. Looks like he's going to put the Stalagmite up at this and make the Frostbite for yeah, and that's going to stop Noah from swinging the Frostbite, or swinging the hammer. That is a heads-up block on Donghee's part. This does take Donghee to 2, and Donghee does not have the Starvo activation off the bat. He does play a Tome of Harvests, so tucking his arsenal to draw 3 cards. He's got the 5-card hand now. And I think Donghee's got to be hoping to to apply some big pressure here. And you got to think, what can Donghee do at this point? Because without the Starvo activation, oh, we see a flash here. That's interesting. So that is going to get him a go again. And is this Oakenold going to be fused? And it looks like no fusion here. So this is going to be 7 go again. Still crafty to be able to get the go again off the flash here. So that's going to be, that's definitely a good bit of what Donghee needs is to threaten more than one attack here. Threaten more than 10. Or at least up to 10. So 7, and then if he wails after this, that's 11. Yeah, and that's going to get a card so far out of, one card out of, oh, and we see the Pulse of Eisenloft here. So with the Pulse plus Rampart, is that a block for 9? 7. That is a block for 7. So that does full block the Oakenold, leaving Noah with 2 cards in hand. Noah's going to fuse. You don't see Pulse played too often. Let me just zoom in on that again. I'm not quite sure where this Channel Lake Frigid came from. Oh, that's to block the whale. I missed that. I see. So does that mean the whale's coming in for 1 here still? Right, Channel Lake Frigid is a 4 block because of Pulse. That makes sense. Huh. Chat setting me straight. So here we see Noah coming back with just the Winter's Whale, pitching a Blizzard. So this is a Frosty 4 being threatened. Noah thinking about, or sorry, Donghee thinking about his block here, trying to figure out what he can threaten on his turn, while still probably not wanting to go to 1 here. I imagine he doesn't want the Frostbite. I see chat asking when we're going to have the first Commoner League. I'll bring that up at the next owners meeting, and we'll see what we can figure out if we can do a season of Commoner or something. That'd be interesting. Donghee thinking long and hard here. This is where we need that music once again. Maybe like a nice jazz flute solo. That'd be good. That'd be good. In the tank music. It's got to be royalty free. That's the problem. Sure, I can figure something out. So it looks like Donghee is. He had a card selected in hand there. I think he's maybe got what his plan figured out here is. we're going to see the Tunic and a Command and Conquer. That's going to be a block for 4. That leaves Donghee with 3 cards in hand and 1 in arsenal. And we see a Starvo activation here. Channel Lake Frigid, a break ground, and a blink. That break ground's going to have go again. +2 dominate and go again. This is kind of really what Donghee needed right now. And that's a blue break ground, so that's 7 go again dominate. We're going to see Noah starts off with a Crown of Seeds here. With the Pulse of Candlehold pitched. So 1 floating. We see the crippling, oh, we're thinking about the crippling crush here. And we're going to see, it looks like, yeah, a crippling crush. We've got the Crown of Seed. That prevents up to 4 currently. We're going to see Rampart along with this and prevent 5. No, we're just going to prevent 4. And that's going to get followed up by a Whale. And that's where we're going to see Rampart, plus another card from hand. All right. Taking Noah down to 7. Donghee kind of protecting that arsenal there. I wonder what he's got there. Noah has only got 2 cards in hand, threatening a Warm Whale. Noah, no ice card pitched here. We're going to see the Crown of Seeds activation. This prevents 1. Two floating currently, so we can throw the Iron Hides at this. And we're going to see Heaven's Claws get played out as well. So that's going to be, looks like a block for 4, that looks like. Donghee back on his turn, coming in with a 3-card hand. Man, is this a tight game at this point. And it doesn't look like Donghee's got the Starvo activation this time. Playing out, is that a red break ground? It is indeed. So that is 7. This is threatening lethal. However, Noah has 4 cards in an arsenal, has 3 counters on Tunic, able to activate Tunic to activate Crown of Seeds. I think Noah's sitting in a decent position here. And he still has Crater Fist as well. So he's going to throw Crater Fist. And is he going to go to 2? It looks like it. Oh no, I think we might see a Starvo activation here. Yes, we do. So the next attack has +2 dominating go again. And that's going to be into a crippling crush. That's 13 dominate go again. That might be game here. That is game. We see Donghee packing it up. And there we have it, folks. Donghee taking the loss there. Noah taking the win. Galaxxi Gaming up 2-0 in the series now. That's a tough loss to take for West Coast, Best Coast. Now Galaxy's in a position where they can take the series. That's It's not where West Coast Best Coast wants to be. If West Coast Best Coast wants to hold on to that second place spot, they need to put out a win next. But we've got lots of action. Definitely some players. I mean, just seeing how tight that match was, we're going to have some equally tight, close matches here. And we've got some exciting matches coming up for you still. We've still got in just a couple minutes here, starting at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. We've got Nathan Fortin versus Patrick Garren. And then followed up, we've got Yuki Lee Bender and Tanner Probst. And then finally, we've got Zayne Johnson on Elijah Calub coming up still. So don't go anywhere. We're going to cut to a quick break here, but we're going to be right back. And we're going to have Pat Shaw joining us. All right, what is up? We are back. I've got Pat Shaw here with me, and we've got in this match Nathan Fortin taking on. Oh, my apologies. I don't have the sheet in front of me. Taking on Patrick Garren. The players have already revealed here. Nathan in the blue on the left in Prism. Uh, Patrick on the right in red on Chain. And Pat, what do you think about this matchup already?
Well, I remember Nathan from last week with the upset over Michael Hamilton. He was piloting Prism then as well, I believe, if I recall. Um, so I am looking forward to him piloting it again. Uh, it'll be interesting to see how this goes. I think we've seen in the last couple weeks chain boarding over 60 cards here, looking for a combo finish, including Eclipse. I think Prism. I think the optimal play here from Prism is likely a fatigue strategy to try to block him out and uh, keep his life total high preserved so that Chain fatigues themselves. I think we've seen in the past this season Prisms that try to go tit for tat against Chain usually end up on the wrong side of things. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you're right. I think likely that fatigue is probably the way to go. That's the way I've found success in this matchup. My apologies. We just had some quick technical glitches here. I don't know if that came through on stream. Uh, yeah, fatigue. Fatigue usually the way to go. But with that being said, just a straight heralds. If you know you're taking on chain and you go straight heralds, and chain doesn't have a lot of poppers, that can still apply a lot of pressure as well. So I think with that being said, it is interesting. It will be interesting here to see here what Nathan chooses to employ. See the roll here, and it looks like Nathan gets to go first. Nathan ticking up Tunic, and kind of trying to figure out how he opens here. We seem to be having some lag issues now. Oh, it looks like cards are kind of starting to materialize and look like they're supposed to. Still can't see what we attacked with here. Hang on a sec. Let me see if I can get that back for us.
Yeah, we have a bit of an unknown card. Yeah, technology. TTS. Doesn't always run 100%.
Yeah, especially when the ping starts to get up there a little bit.
Yep,
We are able to see
absolutely.
that it looks like whatever happened there. It looks like it was a herald played, which was double blocked from hand by Patrick, and then that was followed up by a passing mirage. And we see here we're going to go to the start of Patrick's turn. Patrick's going to make a rune chant, make a soul shackle,
It's the
play a
captain's
captain's,
call.
yeah, blue captain's call. Oh, I see. We fixed the sequencing here. So that was a blue captain's call into the chain activation. So we're probably choosing +2 here.
Yep, it is the correct
Yeah.
there. When he dropped that soul shackle token into there, like, that's very interesting. And then following that up with the captain's call. So glad to see there. This should be it for this turn, though. It's early in the game. Low soul shackle is going to come in with the bounding. He's got the one float to do the Rosetta, and I imagine he'd be looking to arsenal this card in hand and not try to play it out.
Yeah. So with the Fate for Scene played here, it does show that Nathan has the potential to possibly fatigue here. I think it's still a little early to tell, but we see the bounding get followed up with a Swarming Gloomveil. We have made an aura this turn.
Ooh.
We've made 2 auras this turn, so this is going to be 4 with Go again. You see that followed
How
up
do you
by the Thorn.
feel? How
Go
do you
ahead there,
feel
Pat.
about that? How do you feel about uh, that line of attack this early?
I think we've seen, I
When
mean,
we
ever since Seeds has been banned, we've seen chains get put a little more pressure into the early game. And I think in some matchups, you do need to apply that early consistent pressure. Um, Mind you, if if Nathan is indeed on the fatigue plan here, that's going to be uh, that early pressure game is not going to work. He's going to need to. Patrick's going to need to play to that late game and play to that strong late game. That's what's going to win him this match. If through pitch stacking and things like that, that's how he's going to win this game. If Nathan's on the fatigue plan, so it's going to be interesting to see what both players are really planning on doing here. We're on Shackle 2 now, and both players still at 40 health.
would it be fair? So I've kind of dabbled a little bit in chain here, but so would it be fair to say that he's likely going to try and pitch stack all the blood that he can uh, early, and if he's not seeing the cards that he wants for a late game, he's probably just churning them out to see more. So while arsenaling that card might have been beneficial, getting rid of it and drawing 4 new ones is probably what he's looking at uh, to help pitch stack.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the early game, the chains are always mindful of, hey, if I pitch this, then I can banish this in the late game. And I know there is some crazy math that, like, if you can actually calculate exactly if you pitch something at what point you'll draw it or you'll banish it. Uh,
Mhm.
that's I haven't taken the time to learn that math yet. So that's probably something I should get done here. But yeah,
Me
100%,
too.
yeah,
Me too. That is some that's some New Jersey practice right there.
yeah, that's a Joe Colin move right there. We see, yeah, but so far it does look like Prism is trying to just prevent as much damage as possible here, and is
Mhm.
lending into the fatigue plan. We see the Prism just passing back to Patrick. Patrick at the start of his turn coming in with the activating chain into a runic wreck. So this is 7. On hit, threatens to destroy an aura. However, Nathan on Prism doesn't have any auras currently. And we see a full block of the runic wreck followed up by a Rosetta. This is just going to be for 2. And we see footsteps are going to be thrown at it using Tunic to pay the activation cost. So
I
that,
do see that Howl Beyond being pitched, uh, and now on the bottom.
yes, 100%. And that's another example of setting up for that late game here. And it looks
Mhm.
like Nathan is going to be able to come in on his turn with a Miraging Metamorph, coming in for 7, and Patrick just choosing to take that damage, going down to 33, going into Shackle 3 on his turn. He does hit a Hell from Beyond and a Ghostly Visit, so that's a pretty good spread for Shackle 3. And we see an Art of War on top of that. So this is an Art of War turn with good banishes. Let's see what Nathan could be taking some damage on this turn.
Yeah, he's set up for a pretty big turn here, and he's got the non-attack that gives go again. So he's gonna be producing some damage and extending that combat chain here. I think you're seeing the benefit here of keeping those 5 card hands. I keep running back to that initial decision to play that Swarming Gloomveil instead of setting up for another turn. I think this anytime you can arsenal and come in, especially with something like this with that Art of War, it just pays dividends to have that extra card available. You know, he's going to be trying to leak damage here as much as he can while setting up for that end game state. I think every point and every decision point getting there is going to be important.
100%. And here we see on the Art of War turn, we've also got a Shadow Puppetry. So we did the Shadow
We
Puppetry
got a
into a,
rebel.
oh, this is a painful turn for Nathan, but Nathan still, so he managed to, what was it, a Art of Wars +1, +3 on a Howl, +1 on the Shadow Puppetry, so that's 5. The bounding was, oh, we've already lost the bounding.
Yeah,
But it
broke the
looks,
combat chain, but he did block with I believe a Soul Shield and a Command and Conquer for 9.
yeah, it looks like a full block. Nathan's still sitting
Yeah,
at
he's still at
38.
38. Yeah.
And I wonder how Nathan's going to deal with the Revel. Is he just going to choose to take that?
Got the 1 float. I imagine he's probably going to try and use that for footsteps. If he has, I mean, the likelihood is he's got 2 yellows in hand. Is it worth pitching one of those? Oh, it looks like he's gonna.
Well, he would have had one
He's,
floating off of the Shimmers, I believe.
yeah, and he just used that to Arcane Barrier. It looks like he's gonna take
Going to
the
take
other 3.
Oh, that was a revel into. My apologies. I thought that was into the Rosetta. I didn't see the ghostly visit hiding under the rune chance, nor did I realize that had go again. So that is followed up by another Rosetta for 4 after that. That was a pretty big turn for
There's some
Patrick.
good numbers happening there.
And was that just a Rosetta for 2? Oh no, that should have been 2 and 2. Yeah, we had the non-attack and the attack played there.
Yeah, I
Uh,
believe he took the arcane and full blocked with the herald
oh, he
on
went
the
down to
physical.
31 so fast that I didn't realize that
Oh,
he took the extra 2 there.
Eclipse is there now.
Ooh, we see the eclipse. We see a time snap potion on the board now. That's starting to become a scary place for a late game Prism who's trying to play fatigue. We've got the inverts, which are pretty crucial to getting the eclipse off at this point.
So it seems likely here. I don't know if he wants to see those banished so early, because I got to imagine he wants to keep the invert and the eclipse banished until it's time to eclipse, right? Because I think, like you had mentioned, invert's one of the only ways you can really get up to 6 blood debt cards pretty easily. So that might start the clock a little early for him, ticking down to a turn here, unless he decides to fire one of those off.
Yeah. Luckily, Eclipse itself doesn't deal any blood debt, just the invert. But still, that's an extra one that could make the difference between in that late game between surviving or not.
That is a good call on the eclipse.
So we see Art of War into a Minnowism.
Yeah,
And
second Art of War.
that is a red Minnowism giving +3 to anything with a. That's the specific on Minnowism though is it's only to something with a base power 3 or less. So looking at his banishes at least, Patrick, he's only got the bounty demigod that he can
Yeah,
hit with the
bounty right.
Minnowism.
So it looks like an unhallowed rites. That's obviously a red one. I don't think the others are played terribly often. That's a 4 attack.
Yeah, I believe so. And we're gonna see that Minnowism get followed up by a captain's call. It looks like a yellow captain's call.
Ooh, there's the ALS.
Spicy. We do have lots of ways to get around it though. We've got the time snap potion, we've got the time skippers. Yeah, we're gonna see the time snap potion get activated here. And we're gonna sword at the ALS. So Nathan's still gonna be on the end of some damage here, it looks like. And I believe with the
Now
sword
he did
popping.
see.
Go
Uh,
ahead.
Nathan sees that time snap potion and the time skippers. Is that more about getting rid of the time snap potion and just kind of forcing his play at that point, in this point in the game? Uh, or do you think he forgot about that and was really looking to get to stop this big attack from coming through?
I think it was more along the lines of, like you said, trying to force the time snap potion and possibly even force the time skippers. Um,
Hmm.
Having that time snap potion though out is definitely. I mean, it's a tough position for Nathan to be in, seeing that many ways to dance around auras on the
Yeah,
board. Uh, so yeah, I it'll be interesting to chat
there's
with him
the
afterwards and
unhallowed.
see what was the if that was indeed the intent there. We see the Unhallowed Rites get played here, tucking a Hell from Beyond to the bottom of Patrick's deck. This is going to be another 4. Um, and I
Looks like he's
does this
took
have
the
go
4.
again? I didn't see where he activated Chain.
He did it, I believe, with the bounding demigod. It looks like he came. I think all of those non-attacks were for +2.
Right.
Um, or increase in attack, and then the Soul Shackle gave the Bounding Demagon the go again to follow up with the Unhallowed Rites. Uh, I am noticing though for Chain that is he just played two captain's calls. He's played two Art of Wars. He played two captain's calls this past turn. He's now played a Shadow Puppetry. I believe that was his first one. He might have had a second one already, but his non-attacks that enable go again have showed up a lot early, and he's used a ton of them. Uh, it, when
Yeah, so
those
that begs
non-attacks leave, he's going to have that much harder time when it's when he's trying to get those 6 blood debt cards to activate Eclipse out there for his end game.
not to mention even being able to play those unhallowed rites and bounding demigods from his banish. Sometimes if you run out of your non-attacks because you saw them all in the early game, those cards
Yep.
get stuck, and then you're just taking additional damage off of them. So yeah, it'll be indeed interesting to see what happens going in the next few turns here because of that. We do see on Shackle 5 here, Patrick did have 3 hits. It looked like I believe it was 2 bounding demigons and a riftbind. So that's 3 attack
Hmm.
actions in an instant currently in his banish, and it's really going to come down to whether he's got a non-attack in hand or arsenal currently. I think the chances are still pretty good that he's got one right now. We see a shrill get pitched. Oh, there. Oh, Shadow Verser. Banishing a Seeping Shadows. Interesting choice. That one I've noticed only seems to get played in the when you expect fatigue, like in the control matchup. That's when the chains pull that one out. So it looks like
Yeah,
based on that and the eclipse so far, Patrick knew exactly what to expect going. It looks like both players knew what to kind of plan for and expect going into this match. I suppose the now that we're in week 4 of the league, and we've seen kind of what each player has been prone to play, we can kind of once you can kind of start to figure out what they might show up with.
yeah, and you know what? As a observer, it's helpful as well. You start to pick up pick up the tendencies and the gameplay, the game plans of these heroes, and then kind of really balance, that intended game plan versus the execution of that. You can tell who's comfortable with the heroes and who's not. There's a dance happening here between uh, Prism and its ability to defend here, knowing that that's its intent here, and Chain and the pilot of Chain working to beat that fatigue strategy, and we know that that is done through a very specific pitch stack and plan ahead that he still has to execute right. That's bringing up those non-attacks that he's played already. It can be a little concerning for the chain player to see if he can execute his game plan. We see Prism now at 18. Uh, Now we're kind of curious to see, uh, how effectively he can affect his game plan to be that defensive. A Parable of Humility on the board definitely helps. There, there aren't a ton of 4 attack base attacks in chain here. They really tries to leverage those 2 and 3 attack cards out here, and Parable just makes those attacks much much worse as they come through.
Yeah, it really helps with the breakpoints and helps mitigate damage. And in a long game, if Patrick doesn't deal with that parable, that's going to make a lot of missed damage for him. And it kind of looks like he was motioning at the parable of humility. Looks like with another bounding demigon. Well, maybe not. He's thinking about it.
Hmm. I think if he's got a card in hand, I'm wondering if he'll attack one more time because he's shackled to give something go again. Correct? I don't think he's used that go again yet. So likely bounding to the face and perhaps pitch. to Rosetta targeting Parable.
I could see that. And it looks like Nathan's going to uh, throw his boots at this, taking one. And just a reminder, oh yeah, we see the Parable
Hmm.
getting targeted there. So looks like at the end of Patrick's turn, Nathan is going to elect to make a shield there. He's going to be able to leak a damage on his turn probably, and then on top of that, prevent one damage moving down the road. Just a reminder to our viewers as well that this game is we do have Galaxy Gaming up 2-0 in the series so far. So this game is pretty important. Nathan needing to get a win here to keep West Coast Best Coast in the series. Going into
We
Shackle
see,
6.
yes, Shackle 6, 1 out of 5 targets.
I don't think
With the Art of
Patrick's.
War, I believe, the third Art of
Oh,
War.
the Art of War feels bad, but I don't think like Patrick's too worried beyond that. Like he's still got a 5 card hand. He had the Riftbind from last turn. Like he's still able to pressure this turn. It doesn't. This turn isn't going to be the turn he's going to get off as Eclipse per se. But
Mhm.
I think we have seen some blood deck cards get pitched here. We've seen Unhallowed Rites get some howls back to the bottom of the deck. So there is the potential for that big late game still. And you know what? While we're at it here, why don't we have a look and see how many cards are left in each player's deck? Oh, we see, yeah, still at 27. And of course, the Prism at 40. So
Mhm.
lots of life left to this game still.
Shackle to 7. We
This is
see pitching a Rift Bind.
starting to get to the point though where at 7 shackles you do start to burn through the deck a little bit quicker for Patrick.
Yeah, at 7 shackles, that is only 3 more full turn cycles, and that might go up. So I think we're looking at most 3 turns left here, uh, in the game, regardless of the blocking strategies.
Now, bearing in mind that there is some pitching back into the deck, and that does extend things too. So I think with that math, probably 3 to 4 turns. It'll be
That's fair.
interesting to it'll be interesting to see how Patrick plays out these last couple turns, and to see what tricks Nathan has up his sleeve to prevent damage still and to stay in the game.
You see an overpitch to create a rune chant.
So creating a rune chant helps deal with it. Well, no, there are no spectral shields at that point though, so this is just to leak damage.
Yep, I think that's about putting the Unhallowed back in there and the Animov Skies. 2 very important cards
Oh yes,
for that final turn.
that as well. So getting Nathan down to 14 there. Nathan's going to Arsenal and pass it right back to Patrick. You got to hope that he's Arsenaling either a Soul Shield or a Sync Below or a Fate Foreseen there.
Yeah, I don't think Nathan can't be feeling great right now. Being at 14 uh, this late into the game, Chain's been able to effectively break through the defenses. And we have 3
Soul
out of,
Shackle for 7, hitting 3.
yeah. We do see that was a captain's call, among other things, as and there's those non-attacks. Ooh, he's lining them up. Usually when the chain players do that, they might Might be thinking,
Thinking
might be
about the
thinking
kill
about
here.
using all of them.
Thinking about it, does he got it?
A little.
Oh, we're gonna fetch a Minnowism here.
Showing the minnow. Yep. Showing the riftbind. Fetching the minnowism at the blue one, I believe.
So probably looking for some extra resources more than anything. Prism does still have full blocks on Skullcap. I imagine maybe we see a footsteps activation here because we're probably going to have the chain broken and you get a little more value out of your blocks that way. Yeah, we see just that.
Oh. So he's paid that one to add the armor to the footsteps, so that he does not have to pay into that again. It simply has one for the rest of the turn, correct?
Correct. Yeah, footsteps is worded slightly differently than Rampart, where Rampart you can pay every time you block with it, you can pay an additional one into it to
Mm-hmm.
pump it, whereas footsteps is kind of a static. The first time you block with it on your turn, you pay one, and then you've got it for the rest of the turn.
We did see a shadow of Urser. I did not see a card banished.
Oh, I believe I. No, we saw the Riftbind get banished.
Oh, did he add the riftbind? Yep. Already got so used to it being on the other side there.
Chain life.
Here we go. Something. So captain's call, likely with the go again.
No, we're
No,
shackling here,
if
so
he
probably.
shackles, that means +2. The feeling he's trying to go for it right now. I don't know if he has enough.
See that footsteps again. And sink below. That's a block for 5.
Looks like he's choosing not to sink.
I believe you're correct.
Well, the cursors are still wiggling around. So they might be talking about something in between the resolution of the effect. Always would like to be a fly in the wall during these cursor movements because you know that they're talking with their hands while they're doing that. Command and conquer.
Oof. So that's going to. We know at this point then that there's going to be no more attacks this combat chain. So this is probably an easy block for Nathan. Yeah, and he's going to full block that from hand. He stays at 12. And we see at the end of Patrick's turn, Patrick takes 4 blood debt down to 23. Nathan going into his turns with no cards in hand. He's just going to drop and pass it back to Patrick. So Patrick's going into Soul Shackle 8 here.
Yep. Tunic is online for Nathan.
So that does
for
give
what
him an
it's
extra
worth.
resource for you, probably an extra resource for footsteps at this point in the game.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. Can preserve that tunic resource becomes a 3 extra block essentially.
Yes, exactly. And we see 2 hits on this guy, on this shackle, a Howl from Beyond and a Bounding Demigod. And
A
that is a
howl
blue
is
Bounding Demigod.
that is. Uh, if that's, I believe that howl is familiar to us. I think we've seen that pitch. So that howl into and bounding, I believe, is the start of the second cycle of the chain deck.
Oh, and
There's the second one.
there's the second Howl. And that's, I believe, both Howls that we've seen tucked back into the deck at this point. So,
I believe there's one in the graveyard as well. Oh, they had 8 cards left in the deck.
but you
4
know what? We've
cards in
got
hand, 8 cards
exactly.
in banish.
Nathan's at 12, and Patrick's got, I'd say, lots of gas here.
He does have,
Does he
I
have the
believe,
go
the
agains though?
shadow. Right, the shadow, if he has a card in hand to banish, is the only thing with go again built into it. Otherwise, he's reliant on the shackle. He's got an invert as an instant that can be played. So what is in his hand becomes very important.
Yeah, 100%. So, yeah, and these are the turns where the chains go long in the tank, trying to figure out exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, and we see an ALS going to get played
Oh,
here.
ALS.
A thing of note is we do still have the time skippers up.
Yeah, so that's gonna cost
That's
at least 1 card uh, from his hand
three precious
if he's got the
resources, and
blue.
those Hells
Yeah,
are expensive.
a timely ALS by Nathan Fortin.
We'll see if it's enough. And this is once again where we can talk about needing that interlude music for the
Yeah,
moments where the players go in the tank. What's your pitch? What do we need?
I've been I'm a fan of the classics. Some girl from Ipanema is right up my alley.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, can I can I interpret it for you without getting shadow banned from YouTube?
Oof, I
We'll
don't
see
know.
what
Let's.
happens. Do 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 da 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 da
Oh, you're
da
making me
da
nervous.
da.
Oh, I'm gonna wake up to a cease and desist or something from.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If we go
But
if we
yeah,
go dead
classic.
midstream, it's because YouTube
Yeah,
took us
right.
off the air.
They got us.
So we see the time skippers here get activated. So now Chain Patrick does have two two action points. Is able to dance around the ALS. That's a blue vexing malice pitch. And now we're gonna see a runic wreck. No. Yeah. Runic wreck pitch to sword at the ALS.
Mm-hmm.
We still have two cards in hand. If we've got two
Yeah, those
blues,
are 2 attacks. Blue
there's the
pitches the
first blue.
invert. Howl
Two
pitches
blues.
the
Wow. The
time
fortune.
skippers.
Shackled to 9.
Shackles.
And this is going to be a rift bind for 3, 6, 7, 8, 11. That's a red
That's a
rift bind.
lot.
That's 11.
He he's I think he's trying to take his face off right now. I think that ALS cost him the opportunity to eclipse, and now he's trying to get 12 points of damage through.
He's just
I
trying to
believe
grasp.
at this point he's got I believe we saw 8 cards left in the deck. He's pitched what the cards that he's pitched are gone from the game. Those will be banished next turn. So it's literally whatever he draws, and then X cards are banished. And I don't think that there's enough there. So I think he's got to get that. He's got to get 12 points damage through this turn.
So things are coming down to the wire for Patrick.
I say this turn, not this turn, but I think he's on a damage focused uh, uh, attack plan now.
We see the skull cap thrown here. Nathan thinking long and hard about his block. Can possibly afford to take some of this, but Oh, he's going to give up footsteps here. Interesting. And tunic. So he's going to pop tunic for a resource, use the resource to pay for footsteps. Lose both in the process. No, he's thinking twice about it. Maybe not tunic.
Thinking he doesn't have great options in hand here. Yeah, we saw. That's why he's got a second ALS in hand, and that does not block.
And then he's got to think, how does he get the ALS out of his hand? I suppose he can arsenal it if he has to. And actually, if he arsenals it,
So he can't block right now. He might be able to pitch and create a shield, and he's got footsteps. So that's realistically, he's got 2 more block left.
things are down to the wire for both these
Yeah,
players.
Patrick's gonna look to if he can come in for 8 total. Down to 1.
We see Patrick taking blood debt going down to 19.
Nathan's in the bad place. He's got to worry about Rosetta coming in for enough.
However, we know that's an ALS in Arsenal?
If that was the card in there, I believe that was an ALS. I saw it flipped, maybe unintentionally, but it did look like an ALS from where I was.
Because that's the thing, though, is there's no real way around an ALS at this point. So that actually could be the blessing in disguise that.
That is true. Yep, he can really. Ooh, ooh, you're right. There's right there. Doesn't look like there's nothing he can really do about that unless he's got. No, you can't really. I was gonna say you can maybe shackle it. You can't shackle a time snap though, right?
Uh, there we go. We see the
Oh,
ALS.
there he goes. There's the time snap anyways. Oof. Oof.
And what's the blood debt here? Because here's the other thing, though, is you could. Yeah, this isn't lethal yet.
No,
You
might
can
take Husk.
probably invert here if
Yeah, you
if
can
he has the
invert, but I think you
targets.
need those inverts. Oh yeah, yeah. He can definitely, yeah, he can invert for lethal if he's
If
got,
if
yeah, if he's
those
got it.
non. Oh yeah, because he did play. There should be at least
He's
one.
got it. Yeah, there's at least an ALS. There's a parable and an ALS, at least.
We're going to see the sword at Arclight Sentinel.
Created the rune chant.
Does he have? He made the rune. He doesn't have rattle bones, does he? No.
Oh man, that would be chaotic. Did you just discover the secret? The secret anti-prism chain tech.
I mean, it's
A rune chant doesn't pop because of the weapon anyway.
no.
So
You're right. It
whatever he's
doesn't.
got,
No, so that wouldn't work.
he needs, yeah. So he's gonna take. He
So he's going to
draws
go.
his 1. So he still has. I don't know how many ALS totals we've seen here. Uh,
Oh, we have an overdraw.
oh boy, got to hit that number 4. It's tough.
Looks like the players are just going to roll with it, though.
Tell you what, that doesn't always happen. If you caught the Clout Chaser match of Joni Rudy versus oh, the gentleman's name escapes me. But yeah, deciding game. There was an overdraw. That end it was not amicable. Ooh, we have a rune chant and a shrill for with go again.
Oh, and we're gonna.
Does he take the rune chant? No, he pitched.
Can't. So he needs to pay one more to deal with the rune chant. And I don't believe at this point that, because we've been seeing Patrick's pitch, I don't believe that Patrick has a non-attack action at this point.
I believe it. Swarming. It's just the shackle though. That's what's making it 3 with go again. Invert is still on the table though.
We're going to make another rune chant. And come in with a Shadow Verser for 2. We do have one floating, so we can pitch to the rune chant.
Get one float.
And it comes down to, do we have a card in hand we can block with? Oh boy, Pat, this is tight.
I feel like it would be a very quick block if that card blocked for any amount.
Oh, we do got the block here. And we're going to see the invert.
There it is.
Oh,
yep,
and we have it. And there we go, folks.
He needed to get that card out of his hand just for assurances. You know what? That was a lot closer than the life totals might reflect. That was down to it. Chain did not have. That might have been his last option, and it was just at the right time. That ALS that came through 2 turns prior, that was clutch for Nathan. Unfortunately, wasn't able to pull it out, but that really stuck a twig in the tires of the chain bicycle here. But Patrick from Galaxxi Gaming able to recover and still close the deal against Prism. And fortunately, I believe that puts Galaxxi up 3-0.
That does put Galaxxi
West
up
Coast
3-0.
Best Coast.
So at this point, that doesn't mean the rest of these matches aren't worth anything. The players are still playing, A, for the MVP title of the division, and B, for those tiebreakers in the standings. So this
Absolutely.
and Galaxxi Gaming being Galaxxi Gaming is currently, I believe, playing for what position? I've got so many tabs open here. Galaxxi Gaming currently tied for 3rd. They're pushing to either hold 3rd position or they're just trying to hold on and not fall any further back. So an upsetting loss for West Coast Best Coast nonetheless. But like I said, we've got more matches coming up for you. We still have
Our next
Yuki
one's
Lee.
a banger coming up, right?
Yeah, we've got Yuki Lee Bender taking on Tanner Probst. And
those are some good names coming up right there.
We've also got guest commentator Eric Larere hopping on with us for that. So we're going to cut for a quick break here, but don't go anywhere. We're coming right back. Hey everybody, what's up? I'm back. I've got Eric Larere, got to point that way. Eric Larere here with me, and we've still got a few minutes out from our next match. But in the meantime, we've got some spicy news coming up here. We just got some spoilers from Uprising, uh, specifically ice cards. They are. It looks like they're showing us some Icelander stuff. Eric, what do you think?
I think this is definitely what I find it's a little bit odd that now you have like two different art styles for like the young hero because like the young one already came out in Everfest, right? So now you're gonna have two young heroes running around, same ability though. And then you have the adult version with 36 health, which is just double, which makes sense.
Yeah,
Um, it makes more sense if you think they're going to like Volcor. I don't even know how that region is pronounced. The one with the lava and such. Just based on her lore and the reading. So it's making more and more sense that they're probably going there with the Uprising as the next set. Um, I think she had like the most potential of the new heroes that came out in Everfest. So I'm pretty happy to see some good support. Like the only wizard we had in CC was Kano, right? So now we have now wizard players. I say now wizard players have another option. I'll probably take a look at her too. I think the biggest thing was the I think the channel card is definitely the biggest like standout for me. Although that's just like one of the majestics, right? So it kind of makes sense. But that one is definitely like I don't know, just a massive hit to decks. Like Viscera comes to mind, right? Like Viscera hits most of those things, revealing cards, drawing cards. That's like the big one, right? That you just throw it down. It only costs one. It's a blue. It's ice, so Icelander plays as an instant. You can give him the frostbite. You can really like screw with multiple turns in a row. And now Icelander is going to have Channel Lake and Channel Bleak, called Channel the Bleak expands, right? So that one I like
yeah.
the most as far as like new tools, and that's just ice. So like Oldham can use that. Starvo, if he's not Living Legend, I guess can use that. Um,
Yep.
so that's kind of for everybody. But as far as like the wizard specific stuff, I think we got the new keyword in the set, which is freeze. There'll probably be more keywords, but that's the first one for ice, right? So that one is interesting in that it really stunts their offensive ability with either their hero power or their equipment, right? So it it does like dual purpose, and then like at the very least, it's still a 0 for 3, blocks for 3 also, and you can just play it for like 3 arcane damage, just like a zap. Like it's a red zap at the weakest, even if you can't fuse it, right? But it is elemental wizard, so maybe we get like a talent wizard, like a different one, like a fire Kano or something. Yeah, that also counts, but like you're not gonna fuse with ice. But maybe you have the emergence of the red blue wizard from Magic, essentially just slinging spells. But
That would
that's purely speculation. Zero evidence towards that. That would just be cool. Um, and then of course the ice bolt. You know, your cookie cutter, a blue 2 for 3, and it'll be a 2 for 5 in red, right? It's like your Voltic of the set. It's your Voltic Bolt of the set essentially, but it's only for Icelander. So I think it's nice because now it's a better option over like a blue Voltic because it gets the frostbite, right? Like when you play it as the instant, it will give you the frost. It will give them the frostbite. So I think that's also a really great tool for Icelander to use. But I don't know how you feel about any of these. So I'm most excited about the channel. Essentially, is what I'm saying.
I'm super excited about all of this. I'm really excited about the fact that Ice Bolt specifies deal 3 arcane damage to any target and not just target hero. Because
Mm.
that gives wizards or at least Icelander an ability to deal with auras now.
Mm-hmm.
And that shows some forward thinking. I'm really curious to see. I think the Bleak Expanse is going to be good, though I wonder if it could be fringe sideboard.
Mm-hmm.
In case is going to be interesting. The fact that it's a red M, like she can only play it on her turn. That
Yep.
is that's going to be interesting. as well.
Yep, that's fair.
I wish we had more time to talk about these spoilers. These are, if you want to see them for yourself, they are available to see on the Fab Global Hub in the spoiler section. Yeah, 3 cards being spoiled plus an adult Icelander. Incredibly exciting stuff. The players are getting ready here and are sideboarding, so we're gonna go live to the TTS surface.
Let's get it on here. So we're playing for the tiebreakers at this point, I guess.
Yes, we are.
So we got Yuki.
So
It's like Yuki's on the. I don't know if it's up on the stream yet. Oh, now it's probably up on the stream. So it's Yuki on the Lexi.
yeah, Yuki
Bringing
on
it.
Lexi into. I just got to pull my pairings up here again. Into Tanner Probst on Viserai. Tanner in the blue. Yuki in the red on the left.
Yep. I
And
mean,
what do you think?
I mean, I think it kind of depends on like how Viscera is going to side into the Lexi. If he's going to try to just block her out and try for like an OTK kind of strategy. Lexi can go very, very wide on the lightning build. So like with like the Phlox and lightning and snapshot, I think it'll really depend once you see either Death Dealer or Voltaire. You'll get a better idea
Right.
on what Yuki's game plan is. The Voltaire is also very effective and able to go quite wide with 3 of a kinds and such. But I think I have a feeling that she might actually just be pulling out the Death Dealer here, which is an extremely fun deck to watch. Very, very, very heavy damage output, just pure damage. Like no on hits. Don't worry about any of that. Just throw that out the window. You just race. You just race literally everybody. And I think if Viscera is trying to OTK, I think Yuki will actually probably have a slight advantage. I know she's played this matchup before a bunch of times because Viscera is like the preeminent Runeblood uh, character, right? So there's plenty of them. So she definitely will have tested this matchup before. I don't know if Tanner's ever played into a Lexi or her on Lexi or this specific Lexi build. So it might be like that surprise factor, that wow factor that we're all craving in our day-to-day life here. So we're gonna try to get out of Yuki here, but I'm pretty excited to watch this. I have seen her play Yuki. Sorry, I've seen her play Lexi quite a bit. She is of course my local, but this specific build I haven't seen her play that much. Assuming it's Death Dealer.
Okay. And an interesting thing, yeah, Yuki being aware that, well, I guess not being aware, but having the opportunity to kind of pick what, though the hero is locked in at the beginning of the week,
Mm-hmm.
the specific deck is not. So Yuki
Right.
can kind of, as the heroes get revealed and as she starts to have a better idea of what might be revealed for this matchup, and in this case we see Viscerai,
Mm-hmm.
kind of hope to tailor her deck accordingly. So it'll be interesting to see what she ended up choosing here. I know Death Dealer was one of the things, like you said, was one of the things she was considering. Ice was another one we were talking about, and
Mm-hmm.
it'll be interesting to see what gets chosen here. It looks like the players are already, I think, done sideboarding, and we're going to roll to see who's going first here. The players choosing to, well, I'm sure they might make some tweaks based off of going first or second if there's
Yeah,
a matchup
based off the
consideration here.
roll. Yeah, I think that if Yuki is running a heavier ice build, it's going to be a lot harder just because Viscera can just shrug off with blocking a little bit, using some armor, and just mass accumulating rune chance. You're going to have to get some early channels maybe or something like really obscure to really be able to punish punish to that degree. We do see the Voltaire, so we're not going to see any spicy Death Dealers coming out here, but she might. How many ice and lightning she's running? That's still a bit of a mystery. We'll probably see it. There's some key cards that lightning uses that you don't find as much in ice, like a light it up and such. But we'll
Now,
kind of
something
see.
I'm noticing right
So,
away is she's
yeah,
playing Shock Charmers, and that makes me wonder if she is going to try to lean in on cards like Blizzard to try to make as many Frostbites as possible.
Yeah, Shock Charmer is quite good with like multiplying effects with like chilling Ice Vein, and really, depending on what other arrow she's running. Important to note, she's not actually running Arcane Barrier, right? She's running Spell Void. So that kind of leads me to believe she's definitely playing a more aggressive, aggressive variation, which I think is definitely the right choice into Viserai. We do see Viserai just pitching everything here for the Create a Rune Chant, the Rune Blood Incantation there. It's a red, it looks like, so you're going to get 3 tokens on that. Looks like Yuki in response will pop that Voltaire, loading in the yellow Bolton Shot. I don't know. TTS is always kind of a little bit fuzzy on what color is what here. It looks like a yellow one, though.
Let's have a look here. Yeah, that is a yellow indeed.
Yep. This is important. She is activating Shock Charmers to cycle her hand. A lot of people don't realize that, like, Voltaire is an instant. You can do it when they pass their priority. The same thing with, like, Prism. You do stuff when they pass their priority. You can do it. Same thing with Shock Charmers. It is an instant, and it does cost 2. It allows Yuki to cycle her hand, similar to like a Crucible of Aetherweave as Kano, Kano himself on Kano, but very similar kind of idea. And so she's able to like get a more preferable hand here, and she's able to turn on New Horizon with that face-up Bolton Shot. She's going to be definitely looking to turn up the pressure. It is important to know Viserai doesn't have an Arsenal card. That is I think he was pitching a lot of reds there, but he doesn't have an Arsenal card. We see a Blizzard Bolt coming in here. Probably gave it go again. Doesn't look like there's a fuse there, so it looks like just a red Blizzard Bolt for 5, I believe.
Let me once again get the zoom in there for the stream. And yeah, this is a yellow Blizzard Bolt.
So that's coming in for 4, I believe. So looking at Blizzard Bolts, I mean, the on-hit, I believe, is the Frostbite, if I recall. That's when it's fused, though. So I don't know if she actually fused it. Doesn't look like she did. Well, she has a Rain Razor. Nice Everfest Spice, +2 to your arrows, comes in as an instant. And that's going to be able to buff all your arrows. So Bolton Shot here is going to also come in for 5, I believe, because it's 4 into 5, or maybe it's 5 into 6, actually. Oh, it's a yellow also. Right, I just said it was a yellow.
3 into 5.
There we go. Yep, 3. So that one's going to be coming in for 5 with the Rain Razor buff. I think Viserai just looks like it's just taking it to the chin here.
Yeah, because unless Yuki has a 0 cost card in hand, there's no huge worry about the reload being relevant here. Though we do see Tanner looking to full block this.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to see, we had a resource floating anyway, and we did have a 0 cost card in hand. So we're going to see a Pathing Helix get played here. As that's a red Pathing Helix, I believe.
Yep, it looks like he just took it. So that's another, that one was buffed. So I think that would be another, oh man, what's the base of Pathing Helix? 4? I think it's a 0 for 4, so it would be buffed to 6. So he just took the full 6, went down to 27, it looks like. Definitely a strong, like, not the strongest because of your lack of on hits, but definitely like a pure damage play turn 2. I mean, it's turn 2 overall. It's turn 1 for Yuki, right? So it's definitely a nice bit of damage to start with. Viserai only with 2 cards, no Arsenal cards, so just going to generate that Rune Chant off the Rune Blood Incantation. A nice clean blue Whisper of the Oracle. Try to opt some cards, see what he can see. And I wouldn't be surprised to see an Arsenal pass, but I'm still unsure about what strategy Viserai is going, given that the only thing we've seen is Rune Blood Incantation, right? We haven't really seen any. I think the early pitches were all just red Runeblade cards, like Spellblade Assault and such. So we do see an Arsenal pass. So I'm still not entirely sure. I imagine that probably it's gonna be a more like a slower OTK kind of build. Probably didn't put in the unmovables. Probably just put in any reduced to Rune Chant, Sink Belows, whatever Tanner is running as far as D-Reacts. But I don't know. What do you think so far? It's 40 to 27.
It's 40 to 27, and I think by the time, the big thing of note here is by the time a Viserai is down to 27, if they are trying to play more on the, any kind of OTK or semi-OTK plan, they usually want to be up more than 2 Rune Chants by now.
Yep.
Even though at the start of Tanner's turn, he is going to have that Rune Blood Incantation trigger and effectively go to 3. I'd say at this
Yep.
point, Tanner is still behind on board and in life total right now. And
Right.
I got to imagine he's sweating maybe a little bit right now, trying to figure out how he's going to, what his pivot's going to be. But with that being said too, like his pivot could look very different depending on if he's on OTK or if he's on tempo, and we haven't really seen
Yeah.
enough to know that yet.
Yeah, discern which one's which here. We just saw Yuki loading in another yellow Bolton shot, probably giving it +1, so it has to go again off its own effect. So it's coming in for 4 go again with 2 floating. Probably just going to see another like load an arrow, give it +1, fire at Arsenal pass, possibly, especially if it's like a lightning card, which you can flip next turn to gain go again. Possibly an ice card to flip and gain a frostbite. Or if you're really lucky, you get like 3 of a kind and just chill with it there, right? So I think she's definitely ahead here. I guess Tanner just really, he could also just be thinking like, do I want to start turning up the tempo here? I mean, the arrows, I would say the arrows that Yuki has shown so far have all been fairly non-premium looking arrows. Like we haven't seen any like big on hits as far as damage or like on hit effects, right? We've seen like a lot of yellow Bolton shot, a red Bolton shot, 3 of a kind. There's a premium card right there.
Yeah.
So the Bolton shot did hit, so she was able to reload, put a card in the arsenal, and then her last card was 3 of a kind. So might as well go for it, right? Still
When in
one
Rome,
chart
right?
card there. When in Rome, flips. Oh, got a
Oh,
little channel link. It's not bad. It's a little dirty. I like it.
yeah. So there we go. Helping to slow down Tanner on his subsequent turn.
Yep.
Playing the Channel Lake Frigid out from Arsenal, getting
Mm-hmm.
around the 3 of a kind clause.
Yep.
So now Tanner's first action on his next turn is going to cost him an additional 2. That's going to be a little hard to stomach. And then
That
everything
is.
after that, costing an additional 1 on top of that.
Yeah.
And
What's up?
now we see a Chilling Ice Vein. That's a
Yeah.
red Chilling Ice Vein. I didn't see the fusion there.
So no fusion. I don't know if she gave it. I assume +1. I could be wrong. Considering she doesn't have any more loads on her Voltaire, she wouldn't be able to load something else and fire it. She also has no floating left, but there was no fuse, so it's just going to be coming in for 5. But like Tanner's at 23 with 2 rune chance, and as you said, the first thing he's going to play is going to cost 2 extra. So whatever kind of, if he had any kind of grand plans about keeping his 5-card hand and going off, this is a good way to stunt the growth there with a nice channel lake. You can see that Yuki is experienced enough to know how to like sequence it correctly to get maximum value out of that channel lake. Getting in the arsenal first, flipping it, and then playing it to make sure you get that maximum icy effect. And she's able to, definitely stunt whatever Tanner was playing. And we'll see. Tanner still has 4 cards, so 3 cards in hand, 1 card in arsenal. He does get another tick on the old incantation.
Rune Blood Incantation.
A little rune blood incantation action. It's his turn 3 and he's at 3 rune chance. He's probably questioning life decisions, wondering why he's on Viscerai, waiting for Uprising so he doesn't have to play Viscerai anymore. Maybe he's waiting for Banlist. Maybe he's just like, once me second is here, I don't have to play this garbage champ ever again, right? I'm telling you. But he's looking to make water into wine here with a Mauvrian Sky is costing him 2. With 1 floating here. He does have 3 rune chance, so that does negate kind of if he has like an amplifier or rune flash, that does get around the channel lake. With only having to pay 1, I believe, because he has 3 rune chance up right now. So that could be a thing, I guess. And then he could just like arsenal a card. I don't even know if you would want to play like an amplify here. Become the Arcanite will be the play here, though. Apparently, creating a rune chant for him, discarding a red Spellblade Assault.
I gotta wonder if because so there is a weird interaction where with Scalata the what is it, the discounts get applied before the channel like Frigid does, so he can actually, though he doesn't have a resource to activate Scalata though, so he wouldn't be able
Does not.
to. So I don't actually know what he could be grabbing here. like he won't be able to play anything, I don't think.
Yeah, even if he did get a Scalata, everything he plays after Scalata is still going to call. Well, the first attack action will give you a discount, but anything else, like Channel just stunts wide turns immediately, right? It's not really it's not even just like the Scalata itself. It just affects everything. Like the value out of this Channel is just insurmountable, it seems. He could just,
Could grab.
it's like read the runes cost one, everything costs, like every good zero cost. It's not even a zero cost anymore. I don't
I
like
gotta think
maybe
maybe
he's
he's
grabbing
grabbing. Sorry, go
an
ahead.
Arsenal card.
That's
I
what
think
I'm
he's probably
thinking.
just, yeah, he might be grabbing Sonata for the Arsenal, and then just trying to dodge a turn and hope that Yuki's 5 card hand is not like something super strong that like rips a bunch of cards out. He's still, the one thing Tanner has going for him at the moment is he still has his full armor suite, right? So he's at effectively 26 life with all his armor. In the first go, like assuming he, like if he gets the full block value of Skull Cap and Grasp, so he'll get 3/3, 2 off Skeleta, so he's got 9 if he blocks with creepers. Um, so he's not technically at 19, but for all intents and purposes, he has to be very careful on how he wants to like pivot because he is at half the health of Yuki here. Hasn't done any damage yet. He might just be like looking for that critical mass, I think, in my opinion.
I think that's the only play I can think of here is that he grabs a Shrill of Skull form. No, he discarded an attack action, so he can't grab that.
Yeah.
There it is,
It's
a
just it is
Sonata.
Sonata, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I think he's just gonna Arsenal pass. It seems like a fine play. I mean, you don't want to Arsenal the red Spellblade Assault, I guess, because then you really do need something like a Moth Skies or a Creepers. Like you have to force a Creepers to really get max value out of that to create the
Yeah.
Rune Chance, give a discount to Rune Flash, do all, you know what I mean, do all the dirty stuff. And so he's trying to be a little bit cleaner, I guess, for the audience, and he's keeping it PG. Just get an Arsenal pass. Yuki is completely okay with that, flipping her own Chilling Ice Vein, letting Tanner know that no, this is not a turn you're going to be able to just keep your hand. Loading in an Endless Arrow, firing the Endless Arrow, probably giving it Go Again, so be coming in for 4 Go Again. She has the Chilling, so if she has an Ice card to fuse with it, that'll come in regardless. I guess ideally she'll have an arrow and then an ice card for the full 3 arrows.
I would imagine that's the hope here. We see that followed up with a Pathing Helix. Maybe she doesn't have the ice card here.
So that's the red searing shot for, I believe it's coming in for
shot.
5. No, for 5. No, it's for 4. If it hits, it deals an extra damage, I believe. Yeah, they lose another health. Okay, deal the damage, lose a health. Potato. So we got 4 or 5 essentially, and then if that last card is an ice card, she can yell Yahtzee really loudly, do her best Starvo impression, and just hit him with a bunch of arrows. And we are going to finally see some armor blocks coming out of Tanner here, so he's definitely feeling the burn, which is kind of funny because she's playing an ice build. But fire and ice. She is now Daenerys. Yuki is now Daenerys. This is the song of Fire and Ice. That is the Game of Thrones reference for the game.
So it looks like no ice card for the fuse here. So Yuki opting more on the push damage side. But I mean, the fact that she had the Chilling Ice Vein kind of up and hiding there, or sitting up there the whole time, I think that kind of baited Tanner into a position where he thought that he needed to prevent damage anyway. Or prevent hits for that matter. So I think that that was another example of Yuki sequencing very well and managing to kind of keep her opponent on the hook and not really know what's coming next.
No, fair enough. I think it's very like the sequencing and the ordering from Yuki. This game is obviously being that of a Ranger player. Go figure. So she's definitely giving a bit of a showcase here on how every card matters in the correct order, because you can min max your damage not only on your turn, but what your opponent thinks you might be doing, right? Because I thought maybe for sure it was like a chilling coming out of that, so maybe my hand wouldn't be that good if I had to block the chilling anyways. But she was able to kind of move around that. We are going to be seeing a red lead the charge, I believe. So red lead the charge into Skeleta, 5 rune chance with Sonata. It's going to be dumping one more one more. Should be two more for the extra card. I don't.
Let's see.
Right,
Going
right
at
now, it's
no. If you had 5 rune chants up, that would make sense for me to
oh, he
pitch
had
1 into it.
yeah, he had 5, right? I thought he had, sorry, I looked at the 6 and I thought he had 6 there. So no, okay, that makes sense. So pitching an extra 1 to get that extra card to round, to ignore rounding, ignore math. He's gonna flip it all at once. Ooh, that
Oh, is
looks
that 1 attack, non-attack action?
no. It looks like that's a Runeblood incantation below that, and a Oath of the Arcanite. So it's a 2
Oh, so
hit,
it's 2. I didn't see the Oath of
and
the Arcanite
he's
there.
gonna yeah, he's just gonna snap pick up that Swarm and Gloomveil, as many of us do, playing Viscerai, of course, and gonna think about the
Oh,
he's putting it back. That's the blue Spellblade Assault, right? So
yeah.
blue Spellblade CNC. He's got Meet and Greet there, so I don't know what his last card is. He has 2 floating right now. He's at 11. She's at 40. So
I
I
would think you
understand
want
the
the
need to
swarming.
make. Yeah, he's picking up the CNC. I guess. What is the card in his hand? I wonder. He's got the lead the charge for the Command and Conquer to go again, so that's kind of nice, right? So he can play the Command and Conquer, use the 2, pitch a blue to play. Maybe he's got another CNC in hand. Possibly that could be, but like that's a bit counterintuitive. Like you just have to like assume she's full blocking the first one, and then you have the second one. That could be the play. Shit, maybe he has a pummel. I don't know. Like I've seen weirder things, right? So we are gonna see the 2 Blizzard Bolts block and the 6 rune chance being taken here. Another CNC would be pretty cool, actually. So he doesn't have any floating. Oh no, he does, because the CNC was free from Scalada.
Yeah.
He's gonna make a rune chant. Okay. I really want to see a second CNC here.
A
Oh,
Spellblade Assault.
my hopes have been dashed. Not literally, I guess, but in this particular case, just like easily blockable damage. Like I don't think Yuki ever blocks raw Spellblade Assault.
No, I agree. Yeah, I think Yuki's at 27 now. The Tanner's still, Tanner doesn't have Scalata anymore. This is a tough place to be for Tanner right now.
Something's tingling. My spidey senses are tingling. Is there a 3 of a kind on the horizon? Oh, that's
Ooh,
a
I
bad
wonder.
pun. Ignore that. Just ignore that pun there. But like we might have a 3 of a kind coming in here, and that would make life oh yeah, weave ice. Oh okay.
Oh,
I thought for sure that was a 3 of a kind. But we do have a chilling that is fused. So it does gain dominate, which is really, really good at the moment because he's at 11. So
this is a great tempo play. This is going to force, you probably block 1 out of hand, and then this forces another card on the trigger, and then you can shock charmers on top of that and force, more resources and cards out of hand. Like this is a great play to kind of shut down Tanner's next turn when Tanner really, really needs the pivot.
oh yeah. That's also a blue. That's a blue Frostfang. So you know for a fact that she can do it once.
Yeah.
And what is that? 8 dominate. That's an 8 dominate ice arrow coming at you with. You have 1 armor, 3 armor. You have 4 armor. So I guess you block with 2 cards in armor, maybe. Oh, sorry, you can't. It's dominate. What am I saying? Maybe if you have a reduced rune chant, you can. Blocking with rattle bones, so 3, 4, 5, 6. So like he can't full block it. So it looks like he's just gonna be taking it, and she's definitely gonna be shocked. Oh, we have some pitch. Oh, it's from the chilling effect, I imagine.
Yes,
Yeah.
I believe so.
Oh, she decided to not shock charmer. She decided to. Oh, I guess you keep the Frostfang. You flip it to give the frostbite on your own turn. Decided not to use the shock.
You've already got Tanner down to 2 cards here. That's probably more than enough when you're still at 27.
Yeah, I think also probably the play is you want to be doing that into more like red line decks, but a deck like this that probably plays more than 20 blues anyways. There's a chance that he has like a yellow or a blue. He just pitches 1, and then a second instance of chilling doesn't really do anything. So like I don't know. It's very reasonable to like keep that tempo, just put it into the arsenal, flip it, and just set up a bigger turn later. We are going to see an Icequake blue pitched for another Chilling Ice Vein. So that's going to go again. He's going to fire it. It looks like a yellow. He's going to fuse it. She is going to fuse it with the ice card. It's going to come in for 4 with the applicable on hit. And at this point, you're down 20 life. So if you're gonna do something, you gotta do it kind of fast, because Dominate is a thing that you can gain with Weave Ices in this Lexi deck. I was about to call it in this Yuki deck, and I'm just like, I guess it's synonymous with that, because this is very similar to the deck she won Nats with, like as far as like running the Ice Quakes, more ice heavy into like a Briar meta. So this is actually pretty similar to a deck she probably would have run anyways. We're definitely see a block here. So blocking for 5. Is that a red? That might be a red if Tanner's blocking for 5 here.
That is a red,
it
yes.
Is, okay, that makes a lot more sense. So blocking for 5, that's pretty reasonable here. I don't know if she wants to play a Frostfang, because you'd have to pitch to play it out, because it does cost 2. It will get another card, like it will be able to strip cards, but you still have to be able to close out the game. Like Viserai is one of those heroes that can kind of make something out of nothing real quick. So you are going to see that. Oh my god, what was that card called again?
Frostlock?
Frostlock? I think it's Frostlock, right? Yeah, okay. So we see Frostlock coming in. I believe that comes in for 4 with the buff. If she is buffing it. But she could be giving it go again to just hit him with the, so it comes in with 3 regularly, and then 4 if she did buff it. But I think she probably just gave it go again and is going to fire off the Frostfang after.
Frostfang then forcing Tanner with another tough decision of whether he wants to block it or he'll lose cards from hand anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair. This is a tough spot. I mean, do you block the frost? What's the Frostfang's on hit again? I keep forgetting. Was like which one's the fuse and which one is the actual on hit.
Let's have a zoom in here. So Frostlocks is
cards and activated composing hero cost. Okay, so it's kind of like good. It's really good until things like D-reacts and such, but it was not. I guess it was fused. It was fused with
no, it was not fused
because it was pitched. It was pitched. Yeah, it was pitched. The channel was pitched. So look it to be a block with swarming. We do see that Frostfang come out for sure. And that's good. That's a pretty tough block. I mean, you can block with armor and a card, I guess. That's Sonata in the arsenal, right? We saw that before.
No, that Sonata was played last turn, I believe.
Oh, okay. So that we don't know what that arsenal card is. Okay.
I don't believe we do.
Interesting. I don't know. What do you think about the game state? I mean, ignoring the fact that it's 27-7. Let's ignore that for a second. What do you think about kind of the threat densities that Viserai is trying to like amass to actually push through some meaningful damage here?
I mean, he hasn't really had any threat density as far as I've kind of seen so far. He's like Yuki's effectively had tempo this entire game, and that's like, and the thing is, from what I've found, when Ice Lexi, because effectively Yuki's been leaning into the ice strategy, when that kind of happens, you have to go on the back foot and just look for your opportunity. But the problem is there hasn't been an opportunity for Tanner. Like Yuki has just had consistent pressure this entire game, and even her off turns have been fairly good. Like
it's true. We also haven't seen any D-reacts come out of the Viserai. I
speak of the devil.
I sit corrected, and we have a reduced to Runechant red. It's going to create a Runechant and fully block out this Bolton Shot for 5 here. But Searing Shot's coming right back at you for another 4 plus 4 or 5. And those 0 for 4, 0 for 4+1s, are the way she has to push damage, right? Because it's going to be forcing one leak if you only want to block with one card. Or it's going to force more armor pieces, as you can see it's doing with like the Arcanine Skullcap block on the Bolden Shot. And I feel like that with a combination of like a well-timed Weave Ice is probably going to be the way that Yuki tries to close it out. However, that being said, Viserai still has. Oh, he just took it. He only blocked with one card. Okay, because that was a +1 off the Voltaire, so I was coming in for 5 or 6. And he decided to only block with a 3, so I went up to 6, and he took 3, I guess. Go to
So
7.
Tanner,
We do see a Sonata.
Sonata from hand here. Tanner kind of, I think this is his Alamo at this point. This is him trying to.
Ooh, I'm remembering the Alamo. It didn't go like that though. From what I remember, maybe I guess depending on how you look at it, maybe it did go like that. But we're looking at 2 non-attacks and a defense reaction. That is no bueno, as they say. And so, on a hope and a prayer, we're looking at. Oh man,
We do have the Rune Flash.
We do have the Rune Flash, but 4 and 4. I mean, does Yuki just take it here? You take the 4 for sure.
Yeah, I think this is too little, too late at this point for Tanner. I imagine.
I think he really needed that Sonata to hit. Like he really needed it to hit. I don't even know what is like the best get from that Sonata. Like a swarming, I guess, maybe, but like not really, because you need the rune chance for your Rune Flash to make it free. So like I don't even know what the best card for him would be with a Rune Flash in hand, right? So Yuki's just taking the 8, and really no reason to not take Vanilla when your opponent's at 4 and you have a 5-card hand on Lexi. Especially with your Tunic is up next turn. If you have a 3 of a kind, you can like play Weave Ice, play the 3 of a kind, go bananas, get a pack, rip open that pack. Not actually though, you can't play that card, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Figuratively go bananas.
Yeah, you gotta do it, especially when you're playing the Lexi, But we're gonna see a Rosetta, another 5 damage. Yuki's gonna laugh it off.
Happy to take that down to 14.
And now she's gonna look him in the eyes and tell him why she's the champ. And she's gonna. I really hope it's a 3 of a kind. Oh,
there it is.
I smelled it from all the way over here. She doesn't actually live that far from me, so it's not like that incredible of a smell. But I did sense that 3 of a kind. She already has the Tunic counter. She'll be able to use it for a 3 of a kind, just like the maximum efficiency you can get here. Oh my good gracious!
Double 3 of a kind.
This is why she's the champ, Adam. This is why she's the champ, and
she just conjures them into her hand.
So she's gonna have 8 cards after this. What is this? This is gonna be 8 cards after the second 3 of a kind from Arsenal?
Looks like it.
Oh, that's I mean, she can only play cards out of Arsenal, so honestly, she might just keep the 3 of a kind in there for next turn, depending on what she drew. I don't know how many arrows she does have. I mean, a snapshot would be pretty cool right now. I don't think she's running any snapshots in this build. I'd be very surprised. But yeah, wow, that double 3 of a kind. I mean, she's probably not blocking anything with that.
And a question from chat asking if this is BC versus Alberta. No, this is BC versus Florida, actually. This is Yuki playing Tanner Probst.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. You got some good players down in Florida. They got Tarek down there. You got Rob down there. You got other people down there that I just can't remember at the moment. I mean, pretty big fan there though.
The Galaxy Gaming crew, these guys right now, the West Coast Best Coast is playing. There's a reason why they're up 3-0 in this series going into this game.
I guess East Coast is Best Coast, but Yuki is trying to prove them wrong here. So we have a Pathing Helix. She's going to activate the Shock Charmers here. Looks like she's activating them twice, which is quite nice when you have a bunch of blues. You just want to use them. You're not planning on going that wide. Probably gave the Pathing go again. So there'll be 2 extra instances of damage. Very, very good to... Oh, is she just going to win the game off Shock Charmers? It looks like she might just win the game off Shock Charmers. That's pretty funny.
I mean, looks like she just might as well.
Yeah, it looks like he just drew a bunch of blues off the 3 of a kind. So she's just going to keep loading. Shock Charmers is an instant. She can just keep going. No, pass priority. Oh, no, okay, I'll do another one. No, pass, I'll do another one. Oh, no problem. That's unblockable damage. There's nothing he can do about it. Everyone kind of questioning what's going on here. Well,
Yeah,
it's like you've got to.
unless Tanner has the D-React here to prevent the pathing helix from hitting.
Is shock tremors just
Shock
I
Tremors
think
is
he
on
actually,
hit.
isn't the on hit? So then if it's on hit, and even the D-React's not going to help you here.
I mean, it's on hit of the
Next time
pathing helix.
it deals the damage, right? Yeah. So what? So he's going to need some kind of sigil play to win, to not lose, I guess, right? Because
Oh,
pathing helix, you know what I mean? Like, he comes in for 4 go again. He blocks for 3. He's taking 1, but now he's just taking 3 more. It looks like, and I
well,
don't think
sorry,
there's
what
anything
I'm
he can do.
saying, because Shock Charmers would have to be activated when you still have priority to be able to that you would be allowed to activate or to play a defense react to prevent the pathing helix from hitting, which would then prevent the shock charmers from triggering, would it not?
I think because the on hit passes that, like the on hit passes the reaction stage.
Oh, I
So
see.
once you've considered hit and you're dealing damage, that's it. You need an instant speed. So you need
I
something at instant
see.
speed to either, like, sigil is the one I'm thinking of. Like, if you
That's
respond with
tricky.
sigil to the shock charmers, like that's fine, but like that's kind of what makes shock charmers such a nice trick. So it costs the extra, like it costs 2. So it's not that cheap, but when you have 3 of a kind to just draw a bunch of blues, it doesn't really matter. So I think,
I did
that's
not
just,
realize you could activate shock charmers in damage calculation. Oh
well,
no,
it's just on hit, right? Next time he
chat's
hits a hero, it deals 1. I mean, it
chat's
looks like they're.
saying, huh? This is because if you can do it in damage calculation, that would be busted. But
Yeah,
I think
I'm not actually sure. I mean, it's possible that it's on damage cost. You can still D-react. Yeah, I haven't seen a whole lot of shock charmer activation recently, to be fair, but it is possible. But like, the fact is, we've seen 2 reduce the rune chance already
yeah, and
out of
you wouldn't run immovables in this match, so yeah, he
no.
probably didn't have the
So
D-React anyway.
yeah, so you're waiting on like 1 reduce probably. We haven't seen any sync belows either, so
That is true. Which sync belows, I haven't noticed the Viscerai play many sync belows, and if uh, if the Galaxy Gaming guys are still on some semblance of what Chris Ray's Viscerai list looked like, then it only ran reduced to rune chance and unmovables. So I imagine on that context, he didn't have the D-React.
yeah, I assume even if he does, then it's just like you're prolonging it a little bit more. But like, she still has 2 cards, 1 floating, 1 tunic counter, and 3 of a kind. So it's like, I think you're just prolonging it, because then you just have 1 card left and you're at 3 life. I guess you have a little bit of armor, but so even on best case scenario, you're just kind of surviving another turn or 2.
Yeah. So I just got the confirmation from Yuki. That is in fact how this game was decided. Shock Charmers kill. That's pretty spicy.
It is pretty spicy. Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
I
But
like
like,
it.
I guess it makes sense if she just draws a bunch of blues off 3 of a kind, right?
Yeah, and you know what? That super heads up play on her part to manage to bait out the block there. But you know, I think at the same time, though, Tanner's thinking if he plays around, if he plays around over blocking things, he's not going to survive the second 3 of a kind anyway. So it
Yep.
makes sense. Like, it makes sense to me that played out the way it did. And that's kind of one of the beauties of 3 of a kind. Even though you can't play the card out of hand, you can still pitch all the cards you want, and 3 of a kind can just fill your hand, and you're happy
Mhm.
with that part at least.
Yeah, and she definitely, she's done this in Nats before. I'm pretty sure she did this in top 8, where she just shock charmered into like a chilling, took their entire hand and won the game off it. Not literally, but like, she won enough tempo to eventually win the game, right? So she's definitely quite aware that this is something that you can work towards. Definitely a masterclass in Lexi, if I do say so myself. Me being the player that plays like maybe 3 or 4 games of Lexi in draft, so from all of that Lexi knowledge, able to say that she's definitely showing the masterclass here. But the I guess like this particular Lexi build, I'm just kind of trying to think how it would do into other kind of meta matchups right now, like a Starvo, for instance, assuming it's still around, right? After the May 2nd release into heroes that actually have a lot of on hits, because I feel like Lexi is more susceptible to on hits just because like there's a lot of cards that either block for 2, you don't want to block, like having kind of full reign on pressure and tempo and being able to like play an early channel and just keep it is quite nice. But into like a, hey, take my crippling for 13, go again, dominate, crush your soul kind of thing, like I don't particularly know how well this build would do into it. That might just not be a great matchup for Lexi anyways, honestly.
Yeah, that's right. And I think you're right that it's not a great matchup. At that point, Lexi struggles to deal with the dominate, struggles to block, yeah, the on hit triggers, and you can't even rely on an ice strategy to disrupt them, I don't think, because they have so many blues and so many resources available to them that they laugh off the taxes.
Yeah, no, for sure. And this is definitely like, this isn't a new list. This looks extremely similar to what she ran. So there's nothing. I don't think there was anything from Everfest that we actually saw in the list. I'm trying to remember. Was there any actual Everfest cards we saw in there?
I don't
I think so.
recall any off the top of my head.
She might be running like fatigue shot and stuff like that. Would be the only thing I can think of her actually wanting to run. Possibly. I don't even think in this matchup it's very good, but just in general in the 80 cards. But there's just a pure Arcane Rising.
Oh, and we actually have
Uh,
Yuki in the chat saying, I think we did see it, Rain Razors.
Rain, that's true. There was that early Rain Razors giving the +2. I think it was good
Yeah.
effect on the Rain Razors. I still think it was 3 arrows that had Rain Razors +2. I think it was 3 arrows. It was near the beginning of the game, I guess, but it was either 2 or 3. So definitely pushing a lot more damage into the build that it didn't have access to before. So still a great game to watch. Um, I don't really know what the Viscerai's plan was. I think it kind of there might have been that plan of OTK and then realizing that might not have enough time, honestly, if you keep like leaking damage, taking dominates, taking frostbites, channels. So it might have just been a bit of a switch, but I think yeah, Yuki was able to navigate that perfectly here and comes out with the win for West Coast. Best Coast back on the board. I said back on the board, I guess on the board.
On the board. Still, yeah, 3-1 in the series now for Galaxy Gaming. We do have one more match coming up for you still. We have Zayne Johnson taking on Elijah Calub. So that'll be one last match for us tonight. Super exciting stuff. Don't go too far away. We're going to be going to a quick break here to get the last match set up, and then we'll be right back with more Flesh and Blood Team League action. Hey, what's up, everybody? We're back for our last match of the night. Adam Philipchuk alongside, once again, Eric Levere. And we've got Zayne Johnson taking on Elijah Calub. And we see Zayne Johnson on Viserai into Kano on, or sorry, Elijah on Kano. Sorry, I got tripped up there for a second because I forgot that Oliver actually played Chain. I thought he had played Viserai earlier, and that messed me up.
No,
But this makes sense. We didn't break the rules here. We didn't present the wrong or the same hero twice. So we've got a Viserai versus Kano match. And what are your thoughts here, Eric?
I mean, the first thing that my eyes are looking at is that deep blue, which, you know what? I totally get it. If you only think the game's gonna go like a certain amount of turns, then first of all, Tunic might not make sense if you don't really need the one armor. I think Kano did win the roll and did choose to go first. I think that was the first thing here. And Viserai only has Null 2, Arcane Barrier 2, right? One from Quillhand and one from the Crown, because I don't think many Viserai lists or any lists in general are going to be running more than 2. And right off the bat, Kano blind tome off the top like a god, draws 2 cards, keeps Kanoing on because Viserai only has 2 Arcane Barrier. So this is gonna be either a very quick one. I just don't know which way it's gonna go, but I think the deep blue is very interesting. It lets you do a little bit of hand fixing, right? So you get to put a red card. It's usually going to be a red card to the bottom, get 3 resources. So you just get another blue for a red, right? So ideally, it nets you 2 on an ideal situation. It is important to know that Elijah is not running the talisman. He's running the skull cap. I don't really know why he's running the skull cap into Viserai, who doesn't traditionally run a lot of on hits, or just
Do you
cards you
think
really need to be blocking.
maybe he's just trying to extend the game a bit, try to buy a little bit of extra life total?
Possibly. Oh, I guess he chose second. I'm just
Yeah,
mistaken. He won the roll and chose second, I guess.
so that was in fact a Kano activation, and the tome was off the top with the Kano activation at the beginning of
Right.
at the
Okay. No,
beginning
that's
of
fair.
the Viserai's turn. What did he respond
Just
to?
in response, I think he just passed. I think Viserai wanted to pass.
Oh,
So in
that
response to
makes
Viserai
sense.
passing, Kano responded with Kano. Elijah responded with Kano, flipped the tome, and tried to go buck wild, but I don't think he found much. And so he just wants to just cycle his hand. Going second is nice that you do get to start with more tempo if you like to. Like you don't get the arsenal, but on a low arcane barrier opponent, in this case 2 is quite good. You are able to get that extra damage that your opponent can't just like pitch and then redraw. Like on turn 1 they would just get to redraw, right? So
Right.
here you get to just like do the arcane. If you want to pitch to block any of it, you do have to use cards. That is a blue Scalding Rain. That only comes in for 2. Gonna use the blue zap to get it off the top. 3 more cards for Elijah to go. So yeah, so that deep blue I was kind of talking about makes a whole lot of sense. The skull cap I am not super convinced is necessary in the Viserai matchup. It usually comes in with like decks that have a lot of strong on hits that you kind of have to block. Viserai is one of those decks that presents a ton of damage but not a ton of on hits. So I'm not sure. So we're gonna see a bit of a crafty Kano trick at instant speed. You're gonna see the Gaze the Ages, but the Scalding Raid is going to come in as the instant first and come in for just the 2 damage, I believe. Yeah, so it wasn't buffed by Crucible. You could have the Scalding resolve first, do the damage, and you could have the Gaze the Ages. That's going to be able to opt 2 here. Still 1 card in hand, still has 2 floating. Probably wants to throw out another spell. Something a bit bigger than a blue Scalding would be good. Looks like you got 1 to the bottom, 1 to the top. And the gaze does solve and go back to hand.
Yeah. So, hitting an Aether Wildfire here.
He did hit the Wildfire. It is his own turn, though. So he's just going to be pitching and coming in for 4. With 1 card in hand, probably just going to arsenal the card and pass, I imagine. If he did have 1 floating, there is something to be said about like a snapback or something like that. Would be something I'd be worried about if I was Viserai just taking the full 4. But without 1 floating, I think you could pretty safely take the 4 because the arsenal is probably coming up next. Yeah. I don't really know exactly what Elijah is running as far as like main Kano strategy cards, like if he's running any stir forked, if he's going lower to the ground, if he's scared because there's a Mordred Tide on the opposite side of the board. I would be pretty scared because you see swarming, that game's go again. You're coming in with 3 go again, creating 2 rune chance. 4 go again because swarming is second mode is activated. 4 go again with 3 cards in hand. As Kano, this is really quite bad. Like if I was the Kano player here, that's close to worst case scenario. Like they have a Mordred, they have 2 chance, and they have the swarming, meaning there's probably at least 2 attacks, possibly 2 attacks, and a Rosetta coming at you. I would be interested to see if the Quill Hand gets popped here. Generally, Quill Hand is, you do want to pop the Quill Hand with the Mordred. You get the extra chance. Very nice. I don't know if Sonata is really what you're looking to do here, though, but this early in the game. But it looks like Elijah's going to be taking the 4 here and hoping that that's the end of it, knowing deep down in his soul that it's not. But he's going to try to determine like if any of these are actually blockable, right? Because throwing cards at non-on hit attacks as Kano is just feels so bad, right? Because you're not Icelander, you're not controlling anybody here. If you were Icelander and you did have those new cards, this game turns into a whole different story.
Yeah, shame Kano cannot use those ice cards, the ice wizard cards, unfortunately. But I gotta imagine
Right.
if we're getting an ice bolt that'll target any target, we're gonna get a generic wizard thing that'll also target any target, I imagine.
That's fair. I can definitely see that. We do see a meet and greet come in. Definitely wants to pitch to block the arcane so the meet and greet doesn't have go again.
Yeah.
Blocking with Skull Cap. Yeah, that's fair because it would create 2 rune chance on hit because of the Mordred Tide, right? So
that is correct.
I do agree with the Skull Cap. The other option instead of Skull Cap is like a Lens or a Ragamuffin's Hat. I know why people run Ragamuffin's Hat. I just personally hate the card. I definitely have seen it do work. I wouldn't run Ragamuffins unless I'm absolutely sure it's necessary to win the game. So Skullcap and Talismanic Lens, your gold foil. I think you pulled a gold foil of that one, right? So
I did
your
pull the
PQ.
gold foil Lens.
So you're acquainted with the card. It's quite good, and Kano, of course, for getting that kind of last ditch combo there, last ditch effort combo, but not really with last ditch effort here. So it is not being used. So he's gonna have to use a bit more of what he has his hand, or just play wildfires on his turn for 5. I mean,
Just trying to chip in damage?
Yeah, I get it as far as chipping in, but that's your second wildfire already. So as far as like that being your main win con, you having one left in the deck, you can search it with cards like Lessons in Lava if it does 2 or more. If Lessons deals 2 or more, which it will deal 2 or more because there's only Arcade 2 maximum, assuming Quill Hand doesn't get popped on Viserai's side, right? So Elijah might be thinking that like with the Lessons, it's kind of like any other card in Viserai would become the Arcanine. Like they're just searchable. There's tutors, right? You can grab the card with another card. And so we are going to see a pitch, reducing the amount by 2, going down to 31. Tome of the Arcanite. I see more and more Viserai players running Tome of the Arcanite. What do you think of Tome of the Arcanite? Just high roll to bejesus, or what's the play here? Tome of the Arcanite.
I think that's the direction that the meta is headed in currently, is that we're just trying to whoever high rolls first.
High roll to bejesus? Oh, that's depressing. Don't tell me that, Adam, please.
It is. I'm not happy about it either. I certainly hope May 2nd that things change drastically. I mean, how drastically can they change? It's hard to say, but
true.
I want to
have yourself a good old Mordred Spellbit Assault. Doesn't matter if it's blue, doesn't matter if it's red, you still get 5 rune chance.
That is gross value.
Yeah, that blue assault is coming in for effective 5, right? Because it creates 3 off the. Oh no, it creates 5 off the back, so it comes in for effective 7 off the Mordred, right?
Yes, exactly.
Pretty good for a blue. Pretty good for a blue. I mean, luckily for Kano, like the one saving grace is that you're at 22 versus his 31 without an arsenal. I feel like as Kano, you're actually pretty happy with yourself right now because 5 cards in hand, only Arcane Barrier 2. There's like a critical mass where at a certain point, with the cards you have, such as Sonic Boom, Blazing Aether, Aether Wildfire, Snapbacks, you can't go that low into a Kano, otherwise they'll just kill you off Striders. And they have the deep blue to turn. Oh, picking it up.
We're going to
Something's
see the
happening.
deep blue be here.
So the two things I'm thinking about here is either his hand is a lot of reds and he wants to be able to do something, or he's trying to press even more damage. So he's kind of like hit that break point, and he really needs the 2 resources to hit that break point. Oh, so there's that Lessons of Lava I was talking about earlier. It is on his turn, so getting the Wildfire is less good, but he can always grab anything. He's coming in for 3 because he knows it's going to hit at least for 1, right? And off 1, you can grab another Lessons, you can grab a Chain Lightning, you can grab a lot of your deck that combos super, super well. He's probably grabbing the Chain Lightning here, I imagine. He's grabbing
You
Chain
think
Lightning.
so? What about, because I can also see maybe merit for Tome here. Scour.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a card because he's playing against Viserai, so might as well put that on top. Pitch yourself a blue for the Kano and just keep on your merry way because you still have 2 floating.
Yeah, this will deal with the 5 rune chance.
Yeah, just needs
Zayne
another
has
blue.
up
There it
currently.
is. He's got the other blue, and that's going to destroy 5 and deal 5.
Oh, that's almost a 10 damage swing if you think about it.
Yeah, that's the second Mordred too, if I remember correctly here, because the first one was on that swarming turn. So that's the second Mordred gone too. So it's looking pretty good. I mean, I think in any other, like, of course you have Scours in here in the sideboard just specifically for decks like Viserai. It has the most value in, but with enough blues, I think. So it was kind of the second situation I was mentioning earlier. You were popping the deep blue to like push over that extra 2, because with that extra 2 pitch, Elijah was able to just pitch another blue to get the full Scour value for 5, right?
Yeah.
So it was that kind of second situation where you're able to like push that extra. And here you don't really need to do it, just Arsenal pass. I totally agree. Like I don't know what you could possibly have here that like maybe a blue. Well, I think if you had a blue, you'd pitch again for Kano to try to get a potion, but I don't really know what other play you're doing here off 0 resource, like a Tome maybe to try to get a better Arsenal card.
Yeah.
Tome of Aetherwind. Draws up Viserai, no Arsenal, Arcane Barrier 2, only at 25. So remember, like, so Kano's only taken 8, Viserai's taken 15. So from that point of view, it's looking pretty good. And the problem I'm seeing for Viserai more and more is that you're running something like Creepers. Creepers is very expensive to use, especially into a Kano. You have to pitch to use it, and you need to commit a non-attack action to actually get the action point, right? So into a Kano, I'm looking at that kind of. I'm thinking of a whole bunch of memes here. I can't do them properly, but you're definitely wanting that to occur to really just kill them on their turn. But oh, that's depressing.
That's gotta hurt, yeah.
That's a raw amplify for 6. Blocking with Stir. Looks like a red Stir.
Yeah, so we're gonna take 4 here.
We're gonna take 4. Probably didn't need it. Probably just like extra red. He might already have a Stir. He might not have enough pitch to actually play like a Stir and something else. Kind of curious what he has in the arsenal, but Elijah's still like doing pretty good. I think like a raw amplify is super, super nice here. As far as like if I'm Kano and I'm just seeing like flat 6 pass, I'm feeling pretty confident about myself. But what Kano giveth, Kano can taketh away for any Kano players who
you
already
live by the Kano, you die by the Kanos.
You really do, and you can fix your hand enough with cards like Reverberate that let you play instants out of your hand, and other cards that kind of let like Striders, of course. But at some point, to maximize your damage, you have to do what Mr. Elijah is doing at the moment, Mr. Blind Kano. I think a fork.
Blind into a fork. That's not bad.
That's not bad at all. So we do see a Tome of Aetherwind. Going to play that one as an action to draw. Draw 1 +1, it looks like. Nope, just
or
+2.
+2.
You already have Forked Lightning. So you're just going to play it and gain the full buff. Hell, he's going to pitch another one. There's the blue. There you got yourself 8 damage off the top. Just off, essentially. Oh, man. Live by the Kano. That looked like he's living by the Kano this game here. So yeah, there's really no reason to draw cards here because like what are you gonna possibly draw that's better than just forked for 8? He can only block 2. He's gonna go down to minimum 19. You've now narrowed the life to 1. It used to be 10, right? So yeah, I wish I could blind Kano like this guy. This is Elijah's showing us all how it's done here. See, I would just get a blue zap. That's what I would find off the top. I don't know what these shenanigans are.
Not
but
even a blue zap, a blue reverberate when you've got
blue
nothing in
revert.
hand to banish.
I'd probably get the scour, hit the eye or something, but like that's
Oh yeah.
take an 8 base. Third Mordred Tide though. He's at 17. He's got to be really careful.
Yeah, if you overextend yourself here, Kano roasts you
Zayne
for
goes
it.
deep. Yeah, if Zayne goes too deep, Striders is still Striders. Not that hard to do 19 damage over the Arcane Barrier too.
No.
Especially with one wildfire still in the deck, being able to be searched by the lessons or any other of those shenanigans, like a whole bunch of ops. We are going to see Rattlebone, so red mauve Rattlebone, so up to 4 chance pitching meet and greet. So we've got 1 floating, 1 card in hand. Playing Amplify for free. Gonna generate 2 off the back. Gonna take the 4 rune chance for sure. No reason not to. Looks like a little bit of lag on Zayne's side, I think. Yeah, okay, we're back to normal here. Yeah, so we got the 4 rune chance taken, another 6 from the Amplify coming. Is that a blue Amplify? No, I'm not crazy.
No, that's
right?
a red Amplify, I believe.
Oh, that might, okay, he might have
4
just
rune
not taken
chance.
Yeah, because I think Elijah already took the 4 because he was at 18 before. So I guess there's just another 6 coming in here. Yeah, this one's a little bit more tricky because it is a red mauve. So this is going to create 4 if it hits, right? Like 3 from the mauve and 1 from the Mordred.
That's correct, yeah.
Letting Zayne go up to 6 rune chance might be a bit tricky here.
We've definitely got ourselves a tighter game. This is coming down to being a little tighter than I think we even initially thought, though. Like, we were thinking the Kano was sitting pretty there for a moment, and all of a sudden now the Viscera has got some decent damage.
Yeah, Mordred's a hell of a drug. What can I say? It's just it's able to enable so many like efficient hits essentially, right? Because you're able to create so many more rune chance off value off that card alone. And so did have the full block, didn't want to give another 4 free damage, which kind of makes sense. Blocking with Aether Spindle and Aether Flare, both blue, and coming in with the remaining 6, 2, 2, and 2. Well, 1, 1, 2, and 2, I guess, with the other 2 rune chance. And going to take that, really no reason. Still 3 cards in hand. I'm expecting a pitch a blue, play a red thing, buffed with the Crucible and Arsenal my last card. Unless you have something like super crazy. That's exactly what I'm expecting. So let's see if I'm correct here. That is exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
Slightly different order here. So Elijah doesn't have to use the hand card, the Arsenal card, because he has the Spindle in hand anyway. So it's going to be a red Spindle for 5. He's able to opt 3 off this because it's going to deal at least 2. You need to pitch.
Agreed. Yeah, you can't afford to go down to, what would that be, 12 against Kano? Yeah,
well, it's not even 12, right? You let him opt 5. You let Elijah opt 5. He gets his full hand plus a card on top. Like that's way too much information for a Kano in any point of the game. You just can't do it. It's just if there's a spell that you need to pitch to block in Kano, this is top 3 for sure. If not the one you need to. Like you can argue Sonic Boom if you like know the top 2 cards and you opt and stuff like that, but like this is Optus power. Like there's a reason why Talisman is so good.
Right.
So I think Zayne, I'm sure Zayne knows this, so he's probably just figuring out what he's gonna pitch to prevent this. But I think I don't know. I don't know what's in the arsenal. It could well be something like a blazing Aether. It could be the last wildfire. Could be a bomb. I don't really know. We've seen 1 forked so far. I don't know if there are any other forked, but Striders is still up. So I think really it's just Elijah waiting for like a kill combo, and that's pretty much it. So it's either you play lessons, you find wildfire, something else. You can also potentially chain into a blazing depending on like how many reds are in Viscera's hand. But yeah, without any Mordors left on Viserai's side, it's going to be a little bit trickier to. Oh, letting him opt 4 here. That might be a pretty heavy red hand, I imagine. Or it might just be blues or reds and he doesn't want to give him the blue.
Yeah, possibly sandbagging the blue here. I know sometimes you can also bait the Kano into like a false sense of security, thinking you maybe don't
Sure.
got the blue when you in fact you do.
It's true. The main issue I see here is Viserai also doesn't have an arsenal card, meaning it's definitely just you're looking at 3 cards. So with Arcane Barrier 2, it's looking a little grim for the Viserai for
It
Zayne here,
certainly
but
is.
definitely a big turning point. That Scour from earlier, Elijah able to efficiently string it together to get the full 5 rune chance, which isn't just damage, right? It's also pitch essentially for any of your discounted cards that use rune chance as discount. So he was able to extract a lot of value off that Scour. We are seeing Zayne pop out. So it looks like Elijah just kept the 4 cards in hand. I imagine it could be 4 blues or 3 blues or something like that, or he could just have the nuts in hand and Striders to win the game. We are going to see Kano in response to the Sonata. Blind Kano, I believe. Is he going to find another forked? Is this man just pulling it out?
Got a horseshoe somewhere.
Somewhere is the key term. He's got a horseshoe somewhere.
Oh
my god, he's too good. Oh, he's too good. I can't even. I don't know what to say. That's just. Oh, just pulling the stir. He can make anything he wants as an instant. He's gonna be like, yeah, bro, yeah, you can Sonata. That's okay. Well, at least he got the mean greet and Spellbear Strike, so he's gonna deal. If he gets the 1 Arcane off Sonata, that mean greet will have go again, I guess, but he still has to pitch for it. Like it's not free. He didn't Skeleton, so the mean greet's not free. He doesn't have any rune chance anyways, but still.
Yeah, and you don't dare crack Vex and Quillhand at this point.
Ooh, I think you just honestly, I don't know what kind of Kano hand here is not going to win the game if you have damage off stir. I think. Oh, he's going to pitch for the Sonata, so he did see that mean green. He's a little spooked, but I don't know. What do you do here as Viserai?
I don't know what I guess you try to go for it.
You pop Quillhand, I guess. You say better lucky than good. Pop your Quillhand and go bananas. I guess.
I wonder if he's got a second Sonata here.
Would that be the 3rd Sonata?
Or I guess
it's actually not bad as far as like getting all your Mordreds pretty early, all your Sonatas pretty early. That'd be pretty good. He is popping Skeleton here. But it's just like with Stir, you have 2 floating, you have 2 cards, you have Striders. Like you could even Striders in a Tome of Aetherwind to draw 2 cards or something. Like if you needed more cards, if you wanted to turn 1 into 2, you could, but like I don't think he is going to. But like it is Viserai's turn, so that Wildfire is gonna be lethal. Like he just needs to play it, especially with only Arcane Barrier 1 now. The Wildfire is gonna be lethal if he's able to string that and like a snapback or just like anything else. But he has Stir anyways, so he just stirs.
Interesting play off the Skelata here. We see a Rune Flash played first.
Yep.
So looking for the double discount off Skelata to make the Rune Flash playable, and it looks like Zayne's just trying to keep a handing card at all times. Mind you, if you've only got Crown and Dichotomy at this point, like how much Arcane are you going to be preventing anyway?
Yeah, I mean, Elijah's blocking with most of his blocking and pitching, so is that a triple snapback? Yeah, it looks like a triple snapback. So he did do a little bit of the brick. I guess he could have just pitched a blue to get Stir snapback, but that's just bad. There's just no reason to do that. Unless you have like a blazing, and even then if you Striders a blazing, any pitch just blocks it. Like it's not lethal.
Yeah.
These guys drop. I mean, 13 is still like he's in the same range he was in before, right? Like Zayne's still gonna have to like tax himself. Like it's the Kano tax. You need to keep some resources in hand or you die. And off Arcane Barrier 1, it's looking like
a regular Stir Fork Metacarpus nose is lethal right now.
Yeah, no, for sure. You definitely have a lot of options available to you here. You got a mauve shrill, so you got triple blue hand, which is telling me the last card in hand could be anything, honestly, because you have Arcade Barrier 1, so it doesn't need to be a blue, I guess, is kind of what that means. But that is coming in for 5 go again. 1 Ruchen on hit.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
this comes down to what did Kano draw here
yeah,
right now?
If you have either a single source of 14, or if you just do it in two batches, right? Because you can only block 1 and 1. So if you can do it in 2 batches, that's also fine. Like something and then something else to whittle it down.
Yep.
Elijah's probably just thinking about it. You also don't want to punt. You could super easily punt the game right here as Kano, trying to like if you miss math, like if you didn't math it correctly, if you didn't pull out the abacus when you needed to pull out the abacus, if you like got your combo wrong, or maybe you thought you had put something in the deck that you didn't, it's totally possible to just miss here. And Elijah's probably running through his out here. And when I mean out, I mean the out to win, not the out to not lose.
And we got chat here saying what you were kind of saying earlier. This is why you don't play Skullcap. This is why you play Lens instead, because that could be the difference between finding.
And if you find lethal, like Lens wins you the game, Arcanite just prevents your death slightly sooner. Like I don't. If I'm playing Kano in CC, like I'm not playing him to not lose. I'm playing him to win. It's not a matter of like you're not playing control. I mean, yeah, you did get that block off the Mauve, right? But realistically speaking, you prevented an extra couple damage with the Rune Chance, but it's like, well, but you lens in response and win question mark, right? So it's kind of like I understand why it's in the list. I just don't really like it in this matchup. Like it's quite a good card in like Katsu and stuff like that, possibly, but even then, it might just be a race anyways.
Yeah, as
Into
far as I
Guardian,
know, the only real argument for running Skullcap was when you'd see Prism running around with Herald of Erudition to prevent it from hitting.
Prism, and like in Blitz, you run into like Benji and Prism and stuff that like
Yes.
Spring Tidings kind of thing. And like that makes a whole lot of sense. But in CC, it's your damage output is just so high in CC, and you get more turns to actually set something up that's like half decent. Whereas Blitz, you just have to go fast, go hard in the paint, right? Where I don't know. It's I think in this matchup, I really dislike it, but there are some matchups where I do like it, where the on hits do matter, right? So I don't know. I think if he's going blind, he might have bricked on reds. It's possible. Like he doesn't have the deep blue. He did use it to good effect. I can't fault him for the use of the deep blue, scouring for 5 there. I think that was a very good deep blue.
I agree.
But it was, and it looks like he was frantically looking through his cards with his red hand there, trying to make sure he's not missing something. Yeah, I really don't know what the art card. Blazing from hand and a red snapback from hand. He might have just bricked on reds, honestly. Is what I'm thinking. We're gonna see Rosetta for 2 and 2. He debated him there. Oh no, he's just pitching. He's just pitching for the arcane barrier, and he's blocking for 1. So he's gonna take the 1, go down to 3. Man, I hope that's an energy pot in his hand. That would be super good. Like a deja vu or something. Like a non-block card to play out.
Oh, energy potion.
Look at me just predicting the future here. So we see
and go buy a lottery ticket.
I really should, but I just feel like that's his only that's by far the best card he could have had. So he has the energy potion. He still has 5 cards. However, Viserys got an arsenal card now. Yeah, that energy potion is probably going to win the game. If Elijah does win the game, it's a good chance he wins off having those resources floating from energy potion. Like you can see how much 2 on board matters, like Deep Blue, Energy Potion. Looks like he just yeah. He's just gonna play out the blue Moths guys from Arsenal. Gonna pitch gonna pitch a Striders. That was a very fast pitch for Striders. I'm thinking he probably has it, or at least he thinks he has it. I don't know which one, but
well, he's hesitating here.
He was super confident about the strat. Oh, well, there's the stir, so he's gonna crack the pot for the free stir there. So he has
+3.
2 floating. That's a blue spindle. So is it a blue spindle? I'm pretty sure it's a blue spindle for the pitch.
Let me zoom in on that. That is a red spindle.
Oh, it's a red spindle. Okay. So yeah, so he has nothing floating. He's gonna be crucibling, pitching a blazing. Oh man, he just has forked here, so he's gonna Metacarpus and win the game. Or not?
He doesn't have the resources for Metacarpus nodes.
It doesn't matter because he only has Arcane Barrier 1, right? So 3, 4.
But without Metacarpus node, it's 12. So he goes to 1 here.
Missing the pitch.
And now he's got nothing to block with.
He's going to block with his body. He's going to put his body in front of it. It's not enough. Oh, man, that is depressing.
That hurts. What do you think? Do you think he missed math, or do you think he just knew that he didn't have it and he just decided to just play it out for shits and giggles?
He had what? He had a blue, he had an energy potion, he had 2 reds? I guess. I think you just block out and wait for blues. I guess he didn't. I guess he didn't think he would live through the 3-card block and be able to keep the forked and have the rest of the pitch. You know what I mean? So
but even then,
it's kind of like.
I think you try to just wait to see if the Viserai overextends themselves first, not just do it on the Mauve.
I think you just block out. I think the issue here with the Mauve Mean Green is you're coming in for 4, so he needs to block with 2 cards to prevent the 2 rune chance from being generated. Because if you don't prevent the rune chance, you're just dead on board to the arcane. Because if you have reds left, and like if you're keeping the fork, you don't even have enough to pitch to block everything. So the Rosetta is lethal. So I think Elijah was kind of up shit's creek here. Excuse my French, but that 4 break point, and he used the skull cap already, the second pip off the skull cap. You see, if he would have had the lens, I think he might have been able to like fish for like a tome or something to try to get more resources, right? But
yeah,
that kind of would have been the play. Like that would have been what I would be thinking about doing. However, you'd have to have done it a little bit earlier. But I think using the wildfires that early was like it
was a
might
little
have
surprising.
It might have shot him in the foot a little bit just because he wasn't able to kind of find it when he needed it, right? Because he had the hand with triple snapback in it, right? So if he had a wildfire instead, he could have pitched for wildfire 1 or 2 snapbacks, and with arcane barrier 1 or 2, I don't know at what point he would have been, but even on 2, you do 3, snapback comes in for 6. If you can get another snapback, you're coming in for another 6 if they're both red. But I mean, it's all kind of like hypothetical, but I think it could have, based on what we saw him pitch and block with, it could have definitely come in handy, right?
100%, yeah. That's definitely a tough loss for the Kano player to take, though, with just being 1 resource short of lethal.
Yeah, he's literally 1 resource short of lethal. He just needed 1 to do the Metacarpus. That would have provided another 2 damage, and then with the 1 pitch for Arcane Barrier 1, you go down to 0. So you win that out. Yeah, really. I mean, to be fair, Viserai Zayne was able to get all 3 of his Mordred Tides very, very early, relatively speaking, right? So he had triple Mordred, he got 2 of his Sonatas out, so he was definitely coming out with some pressure. He wasn't getting like bricked on his side of the board either. And I think even though there were some turns where they definitely weren't. There was like the Spellblade Assault, the raw Amplify. Like there were definitely turns that gave Kano a window to do something. However, I think that Viserai had enough of the threat density in his deck to come up early enough into the matchup where it needs to come out early. Like you need to be pulling those turns off early because you can't waste 4 cards or 3 cards when you're at 13 health, right? You need to have 2 to 3 card hands to keep that pitch. But then the Quill Hand was used kind of just like YOLO. Like Zayne recognized, to give credit to Zayne, he recognized that you can't just sit back and wait for Kano to set up and wait for like the four blue dream, right? You need to actually put that pressure because he does start at 30, which is super. Like you're starting at 10 less life. It's definitely tangible at this speed of a game where you can where Kano can run on their own turn and the opposing turn. So I think it's very evident that tempo is still like decks that can go extremely aggressive. If Kano isn't like whacking off stuff from off the top, like getting like really, really good cards, getting like enough blues, enough pitch. I don't really know what the composition of the Kano deck was that Elijah was playing, but you just end up losing either to board state off potions able to like come in with crazy stir combos, or or just the red low to the ground decks that are able to chip in a bunch of damage because they're only running Arcane Barrier 1 or 2. Yeah, really kind of. I know I'm supposed to be cheering for West Coast Best Coast here, but part of me was cheering for Elijah here on the Kano just to show everyone Wizard is alive and well. But Wizard looks very dead and not well in the moment. So hopefully Icelander, maybe Kano will get some support from the Volcor set, the Uprising set. We don't actually know it's Volcor, but support from Uprising or Icelander will kind of take the reign as. I mean, Icelander is definitely looking super good into Viserai based on the
so
cards.
good.
So at the very least, you can have fun rolling up to locals with your Icelander, scoping out those Viserai players, trying to get some freebies. But yeah, I've seen it. If I've seen it once, I've seen it 1,000 times. Kano just bricking when he needs to not brick, and that's just how Kano goes.
You live by the Kano, you die by the Kano.
Yeah, he definitely died by the Kano on this one, but I still think he's an extremely fun deck to play. Learning how to play Kano improves your skill as a player in general, in my opinion. It helps learn a bunch of other decks because you get really knowledgeable about your sequencing, your timings, your priority windows, especially is a big one. It helps you play other decks that also played instant speed, Icelander, Prism, and it's still a deck that I would recommend people at least try in something like Blitz. It also helps with your pitch stack and your card counting. So for decks like Chain, it makes it a lot easier to actually, it's a skill that's very important in decks you want to maximize the value of. So Kano is like one of those heroes that may not be extremely potent at the moment, but we'll see what the next set says. But it just improves you enough as a player that I would still recommend everyone at least try Kano. And then at least if you try it, you'll know when you face it, you'll know what you should be doing against it. So that's kind of what I have to say about him.
And I couldn't agree more. I know when I picked up Kano, I grew so much as a player. It's such a good deck for certain fundamentals and understanding priority windows and responding to things. And it's everybody who wants to develop at this game should go through a Kano phase. Love him or hate him, he can teach you some incredible things about this game.
He is a wizard after all.
He is a wizard, and with the spoilers we got tonight, the Uprising spoilers, the first couple ones we have, I'm certainly excited to sleeve up Wizard again because, well, mind you, I didn't do it in time for skirmish season, but I did sleeve up Icelander, and I'm excited to play around with that for the tail end of Blitz here until May 2nd comes around, and hopefully Blitz gets fixed as well. Fingers crossed. Like,
You don't like Viserai winning turn 1? Come on now. I think it's incredible. The Viserai mirror. That's where my money is right now. I just love it too much. But hopefully we see some nice new heroes and talents and such for Uprising. I don't know about you, but I've been waiting for another limited set for a long. Like Tails
Oh
got
yeah.
old real quick with the amount everyone was playing Tails for like nationals and all the way up to like any other event. Essentially, it's getting definitely a little bit stale. So I'm kind of hoping that kind of reinvigorates the limited back into the forefront because there hasn't been a limited event in a while because Tails is so old, right? So hopefully we'll see a lot more of that kind of stuff, and we'll see. One of my friends put it really well, like some kind of volcano fire rune blade coming out or some shit like that.
Because of course we'll get another rune blade.
Yeah, you gotta have you gotta be like a lightning fire, or like Viserai or something, or like Viserai Unleashed, like some crazy ass rune blade stuff. But it seems like every set you gotta have some broken rune blade, right? And would it be Flesh and Blood without one?
Exactly. But I think that brings us to the God. Is it already over? The quadruple header.
It was a day, wasn't it?
It was. We're coming in at was it OBS says we're just about 3 minutes or 3 hours and 40 minutes straight of streaming here. Thank you so much for our viewers, all of you joining along for this adventure. Once again, we have Galaxy Gaming taking the series 3-2 over West Coast, Best Coast. The standing should update here at the end of the week, and we'll be able to officially see where everybody's sitting. We'll have updated standings for you at the beginning of next week with another week of Flesh and Blood Team League action. Also, thank you once again for Eric Larrere from Spark of Genius joining us. His Twitter handle is down there. Go and follow them. They do good stuff. And yeah, no, you guys do great stuff. But until next time, I'm Adam Philipchuk. This is Eric, pointing that way. He's that side.
Right here.
And it's all backwards. But until next time, we're closing the combat chain.
We are closing the combat chain. I love it.
Thanks, guys.